Hello, universe. All two of you distant stars in orbit. Maybe it's probably going to show up with the viewer count 0, like it always does when I first turn this thing on. Welcome to Black Metal and Brews Valentines edition, because you are lonely, and so am I. Actually, I don't really. Lonely is the wrong word. Alone. Big difference. We're goofing off. Today, it's going to be me and my buddy Amber. We're going to give you the best great dating advice you've ever had. We're going to talk about terrible dates. Maybe we're going to talk shit on the hardcore scene. It's going to be so much fun. I have bountiful drinks, Martinelli's sparkling apple juice, so that I can like belch up pure sugar in a few hours when I get sick after this is over. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you're here, and if you're watching after the fact, you're already waiting for me to shut the fuck up. So we're gonna bring on our friend Amber, and you can all roll in as you see fit. What's up? Hello.
Hello. I don't know how this works. This is so exciting.
That's the thing. This is how it works. That is literally it. You're on YouTube now, and thankfully nobody fucking watches this YouTube channel. You've got a Coors Edge.
I do.
So
For my birthday.
tell me, okay, because obviously you are sober and you've been examining the world of non-alcoholic beers. That seems to be your preferred one. What are like? Describe to me that universe, 'cause I don't know if I've actually ever had a non-alcoholic beer.
So it's actually pretty wild. There are a ton of non-alcoholic beers, which I did not know about. This one is my favorite solely because I think it's funny as hell.
It's foamy.
Funny.
Oh, funny. Okay.
It's called Coors Edge, so now I can tell people that I'm straight Coors Edge. So that's why I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's not particularly good. I think my beer of choice before not drinking was Coors Banquet, so it kind of like keeps the brand going.
In the family.
But I've actually met some people recently that have been sober for way longer than me, that have been introducing me to the world of like non-alcoholic craft beers and stuff. So it's kind of fancy.
Okay, because yeah, like I think I told you I saw the Lagunitas non-alcoholic IPA the other day, and I almost got it. I was like, that. This looks like regret, man. Like I'm not fucking touching. Like, because I mean, to be fair, I don't like an IPA anyway. So
well, exactly. I think that's the thing with non-alcoholic beers is they're so like good now, like that it's like the brands that have them are pretty much like almost an exact replica of like the actual alcoholic version of itself. So like if you don't like a really hoppy IPA, you're not gonna like the non-alcoholic one either. So
Lagunitas thing.
Yeah. I have 2 of those in my fridge that I like can't bring myself to finish.
Yeah, that, I mean, fuck. Yeah, I think it was also like, I think it was like $15 for the 6-pack. I'm like, I'm not going there. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're definitely expensive, but I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. That like the thing with non-alcoholic beers is like I saved the 6-pack for tonight. That's why I bought 2. But like, but I'm not like, I'm not like sitting at my house like drinking non-alcoholic beers. Like I just don't drink. So like they're only like kind of like helpful as like a social crutch.
Of course.
But then if I'm like out with friends not drinking or drinking like non-alcoholic beer instead, I'm not getting drunk, so like I'm not crushing them as fast as I would with other beers. So like it doesn't faze me spending like 15 or even like $30 on like non-alcoholic beers because I'm still not blacking out and racking up like a $300 bar tab. So
wow, man, you
plus,
just give
like,
me flashbacks to being 21.
Yeah, plus like the automatic gratuity that they add for me for getting my card at the bar. So it saves me money.
Yeah, and so you just hit 4 months, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, that's amazing. That's, I mean, I had a beer yesterday, but obviously I'm coming from a different place with
4
that.
4 hours sober, sick.
4 hours, yeah. I really hate when people who drink make jokes like that, because it's like, I feel like that's really fucking disrespectful.
Yeah, I will
And
say, speaking of keeping it on track for Valentine's Day, I was I was kind of chatting with someone that I actually like met organically. I
Ooh,
think I told you about him. The guy that I actually bought my motorcycle from.
yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, and he was like really nice. So I like gave him like my actual number. And he did that to me, and it annoyed me so bad. Like, I was like, "Oh, well, actually, like, I don't drink." And he's like, "Oh, how long have you been sober?" And then, like, at the time, I was like, "Oh, like, I don't know, like, almost 3 months." And he's like, "Oh, well, I'm, like, 12 hours sober until later today." And I was just like, "Ew, like, that's not funny." Like,
Well, that's like when dudes do the bacon thing when you tell them you don't eat meat. It's like okay, I'm fucking impressed. Thanks.
yeah, yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks. There actually used to be oh, fuck, what was it? So there was a store that opened on South Street in Philadelphia. Um, was it like oh, it was a Dietz and Watson like showroom.
Okay.
Which I never went inside,
What
obviously.
is Dietz and Watson? Just for
It's like
those
a
of
deli, it's like a deli meat company,
okay,
right?
I've never heard of
I don't
it.
know if it's like local. I just know it's like you can buy like deli meat.
Just a deli showroom.
Yeah. So I would always like look through the window, but I was never going inside. But all of their shirts were like beards and bacon and like
Oh,
just like the worst stuff. So like looking back, like I should have gone there to find a husband because obviously like my dream man would be shopping at Dietz and Watson showroom. So
yeah, no, that's funny. I used to be like one of those like beard wizard types. Like I had, I'm sure Pressman's seen. I had a beard down to like fucking here. I had like
like with the
Jesus
beard
look.
oil routine and like
No, this is about laziness and depression. I didn't
oh,
give a.
so it was like unruly and extra puby instead.
I think at one point it was shapely, like like and then after a couple of years it was like I was in like the worst relationship ever and just hating myself and hating my life. So yeah, it was just like fucking long, and it's my beard is orange. It's horrible, and and then I moved to Portland, Oregon, because like, I was in Florida. In Florida, that was a weird look to have, and it was good because people didn't really talk to me. In Portland, all these dudes with like shirts that were talking about like epic bacon were like complimenting me on my beard, so I fucking just shaved it off and cut off my hair. I'm just like, oh, this is. I don't want to be like you. Fuck this. I don't like this culture. Like all the and like the security guard at the Whole Foods I was working at kept calling me Jesus, thinking it was really cute, and I'm like, dude, like that's not the way we're going. Like fuck this. So instead, I ended up getting like I went to like one of those like hair cutting schools to get my hair cut and shaved off my beard, and so I ended up looking like I was a fucking extra member of Deaf Heaven for a little while.
Excellent. Well, you know what's even a weirder phenomenon that I can't like wrap my head around? Um, so I had a friend when I was in college that was really cool. Like he was like really nice, really fun. But whatever. When I moved to Philly like 8 years ago now, obviously we just like didn't stay in touch. So I
Yeah,
haven't seen him or talked to him in like almost like 8 years. And he added me on Instagram. I guess this is before I deleted my Instagram, like my main page. So I guess like I don't know, last year sometime. And I was looking through his pictures, and he purposely had only a neck beard, like a full on neck beard, and like was clean shaven. Like everywhere else, like no mustache, and it was like a perfect line, and just like neck beard.
whoa.
I was like, what is happening here? So like I did the only thing I could think of and just like immediately blocked him. But
You're just like, this is too terrifying.
I was like, no, we ain't doing this today, my friend.
Oh, the poor guy. He just look. If you were a good friend, you could have told him like, dude, you look fucked up. You gotta fix that shit. And maybe he would have been really grateful.
It's a decade. Like, I don't care.
Yeah, no, I know. I had one friend who I've known for a long time. I've known him. I mean, we never talk really. 15 years now, maybe 16, almost 16 years. He's autistic. Like and like actually not like a lot of people who are like I'm a little weird. I think I'm autistic. Like he one of the first things, like, I met him, he's like, oh, just so you know, I am autistic. I'm like, okay, cool, like, let's roll with it. I don't give a fuck. You're a nice person. He has had basically a neck beard. Like, everything like below his lip, he shaves and just lets it grow out. But it's like, okay, you're completely detached from social dogma. You don't understand this, and you don't want a mustache. Like, his reason is he didn't want food in his mustache. But also then he like shaves everything to like just this line, and it's just the creepiest looking thing, and everybody is afraid of him. And he's like a lost puppy. I mean, he's like 35, 36. He's a few years older than me. He's a sweet lost young man, but obviously different context than your bud.
Yeah, I'm always like so torn. I'm like always like tiptoeing that fine line between like, oh, like people can like do whatever they want and like wear whatever they want and like whatever makes you happy, like just do it. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, like beards and bacon t-shirt, like goodbye. I'm throwing you into the void, you know? Like
Totally. I mean, I also think there's a difference between carving your own path and doing something that is kind of a cultural signifier of being a douchebag. Like, there's a difference.
I feel, yeah, because I feel like shirts like that and like neck beards and stuff, that's all also like pretty indicative of the personality that you probably possess too.
Right. It tells me, like, you can learn a lot about somebody's ideals and goals and all that shit. And it's not good. Not, I mean, some of it can be. like sometimes you just know who fucking listens to the Joe Rogan podcast, you know?
Exactly.
Like, I think that's just kind of the universal stay away. Like, there are people I respect who've been like, oh, well, this one episode, this one person came on. I'm like, yeah, but why would I do that? I already know that person's interesting. I don't need a shitbag host to draw out the goodness of it. I'm not going to waste however many hours of my life on that. Fuck.
Yeah, and then I guess like on the flip side too, like just like how you present yourself also can like help you make friends. I was at a Wawa in the Burbs a few months ago wearing actually I was wearing like a sadist t-shirt. And some like older lady, like probably like in her 70s, stopped me and she's like, "Oh, hey, like that shirt's like really cool. Like I like metal. Like what band is that?" And I was of course like, "Oh, haha, hey, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's my friend's band. They're from Boston." And she's like, "Oh, awesome. Like that's so cool. Like I just really love metal. Like I used to like be a roadie for Sacrilege." And I was like, "What?"
That's fucking cool.
I was like, "Yo, that's the coolest shit ever." And then we like geeked out in the Wawa parking lot for a little bit. So that was nice.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the shit. Like, and it's, I mean, obviously, I've finally introduced white to my wardrobe in the last couple of years. But like, it's
I can see that. Very nice.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I fucking shrunk this shit in the wash, and now it's like, I look like that asshole who's trying to let everybody know I have tattoos. Like, oh yeah, don't worry about me. It's like, oh, fuck, man.
How you doing today?
Like, that's. I mean, I've known so many people like that. It's like, I don't think there's anything terribly interesting about the decision to have or not have any sort of tattoo or any of that shit. But yeah, I definitely, like, I feel like there are days where I don't wear like the rocker wardrobe. And sometimes I'll see somebody who I'm like, oh, that person looks like they're into my shit. I look like I'm in a fucking Britpop band today, so I'm not going to talk to them. They're going to think that I'm just patronizing them or whatever. But also, I mean, that kind of sucks. I don't like that there's like the fashion show component to it, but
yeah, definitely not. I mean, I wear like, I don't know, I always joke I'm like an anime character. I wear like the same like 3 outfits like on rotation all the time.
It's probably convenient.
Variations of it, you know. I have like 50 pairs of like the same black leggings, and I have like an overflowing shirt, like drawer of like same looking like band shirts, and then like my whole closet is all of those like plain black dresses that are like for work and stuff. So it's really funny, but like as far as that goes, like I don't know, like I don't care like what I wear like at all.
Yeah.
Like lately, half the time I'm just wearing like 2XL t-shirts and like overalls. So
well, because is that for like when you're like, do you work on your bike? How does that work? Or do you just have a bike?
I just own one.
You just own one, because I don't know how it works. Like I just assume everybody has a motorcycle or like an old car is constantly fixing it and doing shit to it. Because I have this like idea in my head about what that
Yeah,
is.
I mean, like you do generally need to do that. And
Okay.
buying a motorcycle is not like buying a car. So like if you buy a car, you kind of assume that like you bought it so that things don't go wrong with it, and it's like a reliable method of transportation. And if things go wrong, you like take it to a dealership.
Yeah.
Motorcycles, they are just crazy machines that are they're built to like you have to be able to work on them yourself, especially like older bikes. So like I bought a brand new 2020 Sportster.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
so it doesn't need any work, and like things really shouldn't go wrong with it outside of like normal maintenance
Yeah.
type things. But even like normal maintenance, like I have to be able to like check and adjust like my own like chain and like oil. Like I'm not going to take it for like an oil change. Like I'm going to do it myself and like kind of
Well,
stuff
and
like
you know
that.
how to do that.
Yeah. um but then too, like if you're especially like if you're like on a road trip, like you have to have a toolkit with you because like shit's gonna rattle off of that bike and like you have
Right.
to be able to fix it, like whether you like know what you're doing or you can kind of like jerry rig something and just like tape it back together. Like you know
That's
um
not deadly.
yeah, so like bikes used to also like back in the day, they used to come with toolkits. Like you'd buy a bike and they'd give you the owner's manual and they'd give you a toolkit and like everything you needed to like know how to take apart and rebuild your bike yourself. Um Now as time goes on, everybody just wants money. So they're kind of going away from that, and now
Hell
you
yeah.
don't get toolkits with bikes. You have to buy it yourself. Um for the most part, it also depends on what kind of bike that you buy. So, like, if you're still buying like a Harley or like some sort of like cruiser, you're still going to be able to like figure it out and tinker around with it, kind of do whatever you want. But if you're buying like an electric bike or like just something like a lot more high tech, like with a really involved like electronic system, or something that's like really difficult to get to the components of the bike, you're kind of like backed into a corner. You're gonna like have to take it to a dealership. So
Right. No, it's fucked up. Like I feel like everything that used to just be like, okay, this is like part and parcel with this experience that you're choosing to have. They're like commodifying each little bit and piece and saying like, oh well, that's no longer comes with this. So now you have to. I feel like that is almost like barring entry into that world. Like I'm not handy at all, and I feel like a motorcycle. Like there's a lot of shit that like if I really need to do something, I can like go to YouTube and be like, okay, I'm gonna spend half an hour and learn how to fix this problem. I would not do that with a vehicle. Like I would definitely want to have a good guide and a good toolkit.
yeah, I mean, I definitely get that, but that's why you either have other friends that ride or like build motorcycles. I have like a handful of friends that own shops that can help me, that I can call. And
Right.
then another reason that I went with the Sportster too, on top of the fact that it's like one of the best looking bikes in the world because I have it and it's mine and it's perfect. Um, but like stock Sportsters are one of like the most modifiable bikes like out there, and like there's just endless amounts of like aftermarket parts, like aftermarket modifications. I can throw like anything into YouTube and find like a billion videos of like, oh, this is how you do this, this is how you
Yeah.
switch this. Like, the resources are out there, but it's like everything, like whether you're going to like a mechanic school or going to YouTube University, I feel like anything that you do, like you should be taking that mindset on to learn how to do it yourself.
Of
Uh,
course.
but it's like I'm gonna learn how to do this on my bike, but like, can I change a tire on my car? No. Like I just like didn't care to learn.
Yeah.
But now I feel like now that I have the bike, like that like missing piece just clicked. And I was like, wait, if I can like switch out the exhaust system on my motorcycle, why can't I put an insane exhaust system on my stupid Chevy Spark? And my dad is like, oh my God, please don't do that. That's like so embarrassing.
But that's all the more reason to do it. Like if your dad says it'll embarrass him.
Well, it's just fun. So like my parents like make fun of my car like so bad because I have a Chevy Spark, which is Chevrolet's version of like a mini car.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
but it's awesome. I mean, I paid like $2,000 more than I did for my motorcycle. I got that car brand new for 11 grand.
Oh shit.
And it is a mini car. It's perfect for the city. It fits me and my dog. It still keeps up on the highway. So it does everything I need, and it was dirt cheap. I can squeeze into like any parking spot in the world. But it's just like a funny looking car.
Good. And nobody's gonna ask you to help them move.
Well, that's why. So like when I told my dad, I was like looking on eBay, and I found like a body kit, and like I can get these like cool wheels and like this new exhaust for my car. And he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" He's like, "No, we want you to like get rid of that car and get something cool like very soon." He's like, "What happened?" He's like, "You were begging for a Camaro for like 10 years. Like, why don't you just get a Camaro and then put the money into it?" I was like, "Okay, sure. Buy me a Camaro."
Yeah, buy me a Camaro. I'll drive a Camaro. Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh man, that is. I mean, I don't know. I've never had a car. I got my driver's license when I was 26. 26, because I had to drive a moving truck so I could leave Florida. And that was terrifying and awesome, driving, like being like, I've had my driver's license for a month. I'm going to drive across the country in
It's so difficult.
in a truck. It was, I mean, but at this point now, because of that, like whenever I have to drive, like, you know, rent a car for something, it's just like, okay, I drove a moving truck across the country. The person I was with at the time.
Yeah,
So,
this has to be easier than that. So we're good.
right. And, you know, obviously it was with an ex, and she was going to take the second shift on our first day of driving. She drove to the end of a block that we were on and had a meltdown. And so I literally drove every inch of the way between Florida and Portland, Oregon in 5 days, 6 days. Oh my God. It was like, you know, 15 to 18-hour days, just absolutely losing my mind. So yeah, at this point, it's like, okay, if I have to drive something, I really don't care. It's no second thoughts, because I drove, you know, I don't know how tall the truck was. It was huge. I felt like, I don't know, like I was in some sort of Mad Max hell, driving like something that shouldn't exist, you know, which it's fine. Obviously, I lived to tell the tale. The brakes only gave out going downhill once.
Oh, great. Yeah. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I feel like for drives like that too, though, as long as you're on the highway, like you're golden.
Yeah.
Like, really large vehicles only stress me out. Like on like really small streets. So like every time I moved, like since I lived in Philly, I would always go borrow my pup-ups, like Chevy Silverado, like big pickup truck. But I would like leave my car at their house and then take the pickup truck and then use it to kind of move over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks. But then what would end up happening is that I would end up, you know, being stuck driving this huge pickup truck like through these like teeny tiny side streets in Philly for like weeks. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be horrible.
That's the worst part of a move. And it looks like our friend Randy needs a girlfriend. Randy,
I wish you luck.
yeah, good luck. Good luck, dude. I appreciate that. I'm glad that we finally got a commenter. That just makes
Hello, welcome to the party.
Yeah, welcome. Everybody needs a girlfriend. Actually, no, nobody needs
a girlfriend first and foremost.
So. Yeah. The phrase "need" is such a weird one in that context, but I appreciate that. But no, yeah, every fucking move I've done, it's always like when you're within a block of the place that you're trying to go, that's like the hell. Everything else is fine.
I remember a friend of mine telling me a couple years ago that they were like helping their friend move in Philly on a really tiny side street with a U-Haul truck, and somehow like got the truck like stuck between like some sidewalks will have like parking poles on them so that people can't jump the curb and park. So they got the U-Haul stuck between a parking pole and like parked cars.
Oh my God.
Like,
so they're
yeah, they like didn't know what to do. So after like freaking out for a while, they ended up just flooring it and just like tearing up all the cars on the street. I was like,
I mean,
oh my God. I was like, for the amount of times I've lived in this city and I've like walked downstairs to like my parked car to find that it's like missing mirrors or like smashed in on the side, it like totally doesn't surprise me. But
yeah.
like,
oh my God, dude. That's I mean, I've had enough bad luck just owning bicycles. I can't imagine having a car. Like I think I've had like 2 or 3 bikes stolen. I've been hit on bikes a few times by cars. I mean, I was also, in true early aughts fashion, a bicycle messenger when I was young, because like, I feel like if you didn't ride a fixie, you had to have some other sort of bike thing, and I definitely didn't ride a fixie.
Yeah, I don't know how to ride a fixie. Apparently my bike, I think it has like one of those flip hubs on there, so I can like switch around. But I don't like riding bicycles as it is, so I probably will not do that.
Yeah, it was a good workout, but it's not something I do for fun.
Yeah, it's too stressful. I've been like doored, like I've like eaten it on trolley tracks. Like I'm like, this isn't. I don't like no.
Yeah,
Riding bicycles in the city is not for me.
no, I got fucking like side view mirrored at like over 30 miles an hour, and I was just like, okay, this fucking sucks. Like somehow that was almost worse than getting hit by a car. Just anyway.
See, not that motorcycle luck is much better since
you take up more space.
Huh?
And in a motorcycle, I feel like you're able to take up more space without people hating you.
Well, yeah, because you're actually like
go with the flow of traffic.
You're meant to be in the lane with the other vehicles. You're not trying to like squeeze by in like what's hopefully a bike lane and probably isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like not as bad, but of course it's still Philadelphia. So last time I went out on my bike, I had a person on a unicycle fall off their unicycle into the street in front of me, and I was just like,
"Why were they on a unicycle?" I don't think I've seen somebody on a unicycle in public, at street fairs, maybe. Are you?
Don't have any words for it, but all I'll say is I live in West Philadelphia. So people have unicycles. Also, what a lot of people in the city have, which I'm sure they have in New York too, those little like one-wheel hoverboards things.
I know about
like
those.
Wheel with like the two little like foot pegs on there, and people just
they're not riding them in the street, are they?
Oh yeah.
Philly sounds ridiculous. I haven't been to Philly since probably 2003.
Well, I will hopefully be leaving, but you're more than welcome to, come visit what used to be my house anytime.
West Philadelphia bars. Yeah, no. Whenever they insert the 5G into my body and I can go do shit with my friends again, and Bill Gates can track my every move, I will be terrorizing. I mean, allegedly, I'll do shit with my friend.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I think I don't know. Sometimes it's also nice to have the excuse not to fucking do stuff when you don't want to. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, there's a disease killing everybody. I'm staying home.
I know. That's like, I feel like that's what I cling to all the time. I'm like, oh, I really would love to see you, but it's just not safe. I can't leave my house. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I just lay in bed with my dog all day, just as God
did. Yeah, how's she doing? Give us the Lydia.
Oh, she's taking a nap. Lyd. No.
I mean, don't. She is experiencing a peace that is great. No, that's what women say. Women do say I mean, to be fair, it's also a very legitimate concern. I don't fucking hang with anybody who I think is being an idiot during this, because
I don't either.
Like, I've got some friends who is like, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go like look at dogs at the dog park outside with masks on. Yeah, let's fucking do that. That sounds great. But then
I have one coworker who's also my neighbor that lives like a half a block from me, that like she's my pod buddy. So like, after work sometimes we'll like go shopping and stuff, and I'm comfortable being around her like without a mask, because like we both take weekly tests like working at the salon, and like I also know like everything she's doing. She's like my best friend.
Yeah.
And last night I let her come over for dinner, and we like made dinner together and watched a movie. And I realized it's the first time I've let anybody other than my roommate inside my house in like, I don't know, like 2.5 months.
I mean,
weird.
I let a friend come in to go pee once, because I mean,
I'll let people come in to pee, but they're like wearing masks.
That's different, But, like, even like I saw my friend Ryan, who literally he lives around the corner. And I hadn't seen him since October, because that's just the nature of COVID life. and we hung out on my roof because it was like, okay, I don't know, like he's not being a fool, but it's also like I don't know, like I have roommates. I don't know where they've been. I trust them too, to be fair. But at the same time, limiting the exposure of people that aren't in the same house to one another, I don't know. I sound like somebody's fucking dad right now. No, we gotta be.
Yeah. I mean, I just like, I don't know. I'm trying to like be careful with it. My roommate obviously like works at a hospital. Now he's like fully vaccinated, which is cool, but that's just as of like 2 weeks ago. And he's like really good about that kind of stuff too. But
Yeah,
he's also a grown adult and like I can't tell him like how to live his life or like what to do. So like if he's not at work, like on the front lines, like busting his ass, taking care of like all these like patients and stuff, then like I'm not gonna be the one to be like, no, it would really, really make me feel better if you like didn't have a life and like don't
yeah,
see friends.
yeah,
That was
exactly.
always like kind of a concern too. But again, I can only control what I do and my environment. And like
Yeah,
my room's a safe space. I haven't had people like in my house downstairs. And like that was a rule for him that he couldn't just like invite people over.
yeah,
Um, at least without like talking to me first. Um, it kind of goes from there. But with everyone getting vaccinated, I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna need like a new excuse soon.
yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do now? I'm just gonna have to like move to the desert and be like, oh, sorry, I can't hang out. I'm like in the middle
You're
of nowhere.
you're gonna be so happy in the desert, man. You're gonna have your van. You
If I go there, I don't know. I've been like researching all day today, and I don't know.
where's the new destination? Where are we going?
Well, I don't know because I still have my top three is
Right.
Nashville, Tucson, or Austin. And then ultimately, I would love to get a van, but my parents are like really pushing for me just to like pick somewhere and try it out. Which I was like, so I've been like looking into like all the costs of like converting a van. And the problem is that you can do it and make it like super affordable. But to like upgrade everything to the amount of like electricity and like the solar panels and like the gray water tanks and like the cost of like using like cell plans and like Wi-Fi boosters. So basically that I could like
So you
commit
could,
to having a 9 to 5, 40-hour a week full-time job.
yeah,
Um, it's like if you do it properly and like reliably, it's like almost as expensive as purchasing a house, because at that point you can't just like, wing something and then like, oh, if I don't have cell service here, it's okay because like I'm a freelancer. Like I'm not. I have a strict schedule.
yeah,
So
yeah.
like in that regard, I'm like, okay, maybe I should start like, maybe I should try to nail down like a place.
Going to Vegas.
Let's see. I could transfer to Vegas, but I don't know. I'm not really a Vegas person.
I've never been. I've technically been in Nevada because Lake Tahoe kind of goes into Nevada, but I know nothing about Las Vegas. It looks stressful.
I mean, so I really liked it when I was there for Psycho Las Vegas in 2019. That was really fun, but like I don't like nightclubs, I don't like gambling, I don't like casinos, I don't like being around a ton of people. And like that's what the strip is.
Yeah, that's what
So
it
like
is.
I feel like I would personally never be like, "Oh, I just like want to go on vacation to Vegas because it'd be really cool and fun." Like
Yeah.
that would not be cool or fun for me.
No.
Psycho Las Vegas was really cool because it was like a huge metal festival and like watching like Perturbator from like a pool outside in the desert, like that rules.
Yeah.
Um, but that's not like what day-to-day life is like. And then like outside of the strip, it is like more just like normal like houses and stuff. And real estate's actually really cheap there. It's really cheap to live there.
Oh.
Um, but I still feel like even if I lived there and lived kind of like outside of like the strip, like that would still be way too much of like the things to do would be,
Yeah.
which it might not even be true, but that's what's in my head. And that's why I'm like, no Vegas.
No, totally.
That's probably not true, but
Yeah, I have a friend who lives in Reno and loves it, which is wild because they've lived like in all these other places that I know more about. They've lived in like a bunch of places in Massachusetts and in Philly and in Portland and then they're like Reno and I'm like Reno. So I guess Nevada may be cool. I know fucking nothing about it. I feel like a lot of the hardcore dudes from the Bay Area ended up in Reno after the Bay Area got expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like so a lot of people keep telling me that they think I should go to Nashville. Um,
Kickstart your
which
country music career.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like it'd be like kind of fitting. And if I'm going based off of Tinder passport, where you get to set your zip code to like a different city, Nashville so far does have the highest amount of attractive people on Tinder so far out of the cities that I've like viewed on there. Um, but but then I'm like, oh, I don't know, like, you know, what if I like I don't part of me is just like, I don't know. I think I just like really want to move to like Texas or Arizona, you
Yeah.
know. So it's a hard
Well,
decision.
the fucking oh god. So speaking of southern states, hi, the Swanify. Does that show on your screen? I don't know what you see.
Yeah.
That's my big brother Aaron. Hi Aaron, I love you. And I'm terrified that you're watching me on YouTube. Aaron lives in Misery, which is we're gonna ejaculate on entrails now. Thanks, bud. uh, Aaron is like my melodic death metal and goth. I don't know, guidance counselor. I don't know. He's like 40 and has been putting up with my shit for like 15 years now. We worked at a record store together when I was young and annoying, and he was old and bitter, and now he's older and bitterer. And he also likes
What are
country.
you?
What?
I said, and what are you? If he's older and bitterer,
Yeah.
you even younger and even more annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I am much more. I'm annoying in different ways now. I
Seasoned annoying.
yeah, exactly. I don't know, man. Now I'm on the internet. I didn't even have a fucking cell phone back then.
Now I'm so annoying that I'm on the internet.
I think the internet makes everybody a worse version of themselves in most cases. But
Oh, absolutely.
like it's a nice way to connect, I think. I mean, but also, Jesus, I wish I didn't know what a meme was. Like, but also I love the memes that my mother posts on Facebook because they look like share zone shit, but they're not. They're just her being serious. Like pictures of like crying angels saying I'm strong but tired and shit like that. And I'm like, Mom, I don't know. Like,
Appreciate my dad's memes, my dad's version of memes, which is where he still just like sends me pictures of like comics out of the newspaper. And he's like, "This is you." I'm
that's
like, "You're right, that is me."
my dad used to always pull out, like, cut out. There was that comic Zits for a while. I don't know if it still exists. And he'd be like, "This is so you," and it was just like the kid being a scumbag son playing guitar. I'm like, I don't play guitar, and I don't suck this bad. Like, I'm just apathetic. I don't know.
Hold on, let me look up the one my dad sent me the other day because I was like cracking up. It was like something like with ghosts.
Hey, that's you. You're
That's
a ghost.
me. I'm a spooky ghost. Okay, so it's a comic called The Old Haunts. It's just like draw like ghosts, and it says roaming the earth in chains. Why not something fashion forward with a ghost like offering like a necklace instead of these like heavy chains that the rest of them are wearing?
Oh my god,
And he's like, this
that's
reminds
cute.
me of you. And I was like, well, which one's me? Like the ghost in chains or the one with the jewelry? He's like, oh, I don't know. Like both, probably.
My mom just lets me know every single time she hears The Cure on the radio. I will get a text, and she listens to like one of those satellite radio stations that only plays the same 40 songs. So
Yeah, nice. My mom does that to me with Marilyn Manson.
she's got to know that he's canceled now. She can't do that anymore.
I know,
Mom,
I'm gonna
don't
have
get
to update
canceled.
her. Like,
My
stop.
on the last one of these I did, my mom came in and we talked about Marilyn Manson getting canceled, and she's like, "I bought you your first Manson CD." I'm like, "Yeah, you did," but also fuck that guy. We're done. That friendship has ended. Much like I had to, disavow half the bands I liked as a teenager.
Yeah, how much like how sick would it be if everyone could just like be nice and like not be a shitbag secretly or otherwise?
Yeah, I haven't had the Morrissey talk with my mom, but I have a feeling that one would be a lot harder for her to deal with. Be like, yeah, remember how we listened to the Smiths constantly when I was like 5? Yeah, I can't enjoy that anymore because homeboy is like wearing like National Front pins on his jacket and shit.
Yeah, somebody told me recently that or asked if I loved Morrissey because they're like, I think it's like a standing thing that like if you're Mexican, like you just automatically love Morrissey.
That is a cliche that
And I was
seems
cracking
true.
up and I'm like, yeah, you're right.
No, so the biggest Morrissey fan I've ever known is my old friend Joey from my hometown. Which if Aaron's still watching, Aaron knows Joey too. Joey is maybe 47, 48. Like he's much older. Joey is very old, and Joey loves like the Smiths and Suicidal Tendencies, like the most predictable California Mexican dude thing that like everybody's cliches, but it's like, yeah, that's the shit he likes. He also was like a skater in the 80s who was secretly had sensitive feelings, so he liked Morrissey in addition to Suicide. Every now and then he'll send me like fucking bands that I don't know. I guess they're like Oi or something, and I don't know what it is. And he's like, dude, I think you'd like this. He sounds like Elvis Costello at one point. I'm like, nah, I don't think I'll like this. But also, yeah, okay, yeah, Aaron's still watching Carne Estrada. Yes, I've never heard that, and I hate you for saying that. And, oh my god, Joey's last name is Estrada. I miss Joey. Joey made me drink tequila at 9 in the morning the last time I saw him, so maybe I don't miss him as much as I'd like. That's a bad move.
Sorry, I don't think anyone's a worse influence on me than hanging out with Pressman and my roommate at the same time. So
Yeah, hanging out with Pressman. I've literally only met Pressman one time. He's like a ghost on the internet who haunts me, and we went to a spiritual cramp show, which is another like this old friend of mine from my hometown. His band came through, and Eric was like, "I'm coming to the show," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I met him, and it was we drank a lot in a very short time, as you do.
as you do.
As you do. Oh no. Okay, we're not talking about Joey's dick on Valentine's Day on YouTube. Thank you, Aaron. Everybody I know is disgusting. Why? I fucking hate you guys. Jesus. This is a family show, okay? We're nice here. We talk about I don't know. Let's talk about
Something family friendly.
no, fuck that.
I was like,
no, I mean
nothing comes to mind.
to be fair, like also, I mean, the only family that I know of is my mother, who's been trying to get me to get a tattoo with her for like 15 years. So
You should. I've been trying to get my mom to get a tattoo with me for 15 years. And what happened last time is she wimped out, but I had already paid for it. So I had to get it instead.
we were supposed to get matching 9 Inch Nails tattoos, and she forgot, postponed it, and so now she's changed it to matching David Bowie tattoos. She has the Bowie tattoo in question already. The time she wanted me to get it was when I was visiting her for like a day, and I'm like, Mom, this will take our entire visit. I really don't want to be sitting in a tattoo shop. Like, I haven't seen you in years, and I won't see you probably for years to come. She's like, yeah, let's do
the tattoo.
What?
How involved is the tattoo?
Well, I mean, it's not that involved at all. It's the Black Star thing. But she had not made an appointment. She just wanted to walk into a shop and get it. And I'm like, then, like, it just seemed like a really shit idea to me. And sure enough, like an hour later, she was tired and cranky like a child because I don't know. I mean, she has no patience for humans, man. Like, my mother is a total misanthrope, which I like. But also, it was like, okay, we've been around each other for 3 hours, and you're gonna yell at me, even though you haven't seen me in a year and a half. So that was it. Let's see. This is a Valentine's thing. Let's talk. So I've never done the dating thing, but what is the funniest bad first date you've been on? Like we're not gonna go into like trauma here. We're not gonna fuck with that.
So I actually don't really date either. I think I've told you
Yeah.
I've pretty much only like exclusively ended up dating someone I was already friends with. So then at that point, like any like date nights were usually just like me being like, why the fuck like can't we go to like a nice place?
Yeah.
Or like let's like dress up and go somewhere. So that's like not actually dating.
Yeah.
So I guess I've been single for almost a year now, almost sort of. And I've been on one date since because it's also still a pandemic. He got very lucky and happened to catch me during a like brief 3-day manic period. I had like just gotten out of like a really depressive slump and was like on top of the world. And I'm like, oh hell yeah, like yeah, let's go out like right now. Like I'm gonna leave my house right now. And he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, I'll see you there in like 20 minutes.
Damn.
And he was like, okay. um, so basically what happened is I knew that I was gonna beat him there, but I was going all the way up to like a different part of the city and I had to run an errand first. So that's why I was like, yeah, you know what? Like I have to go to Pet Boys. So instead of going to the one by my house, I'll just go to the one up by your neighborhood and then meet up at this place that I like. So I ended up being done like way earlier than I thought. And so I'm like sitting outside for like almost an hour. And I'm like, okay, this like really sucks, but now I can't just leave and go home.
Yeah. You've committed.
Yeah, I'm like, I already committed. I'm like, what do I do? So I hit him up and I'm like, hey, like, it's not a big deal, but like, what's your ETA? He's like, oh, well, you know, like I missed the trolley, so I'm like walking. He's like, I'm almost back at my apartment, but then I have to take like another train up to like where you are. He's like, so it's probably gonna be like 40 minutes. He's like, it's probably gonna be like another like 40 minutes. And I'm like, well, don't you only live like 10 minutes from here? And like public transit's like really slow.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, but like by the time I do all this, and I was like, dude, no. I was like, we're not doing that. I was like, I know that like I just found you on Tinder, but just give me your address and I'll just come pick you up. So I ended up going to his house and picking him up and then taking him back to the place that we were going. And yeah, so it was okay. He was like, I don't know, he was like really nice.
good.
I don't think of myself as like a wild person like at all. I don't know. I feel like I'm like kind of honestly like really boring. I'm a creature of comfort. I'm not very like extroverted. But this guy was like so nice and like so quiet and so normal that when we walked in and like my friend is the DJ, my other friend is the bartender, a couple of my other friends were like sitting at a table like in the corner like outside already. So I walk in and I'm just like, yo, like, what's up? Hey. And like, we're all like goofing off. And this guy's just kind of like standing there. And I'm
You're
like,
having your Cheers experience.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I like, we get drinks and we're going to go out back to like sit at the outside like patio thing. My, my other friend was there and like stops me to like say hi and stuff. And I like introduce them.
Yeah.
And then he, like looks my Tinder date up and down and looks back at me and goes, hey, like, how are things going like with the court proceedings like from that arrest warrant that you got like a month ago? I was like, no. So it was hilarious because it's like not even that bad. Like I didn't actually get like arrested. Like I got a citation. But as soon as we walked away, he like elbows me and he's like, so you got arrested recently, huh?
Ooh, you're getting fucking told by all your buddies.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, but it's like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you know, I was just like throwing rocks at a train and my friends ran away from the cops and we all got in trouble. Like,
Rocks at a train.
Yeah.
I feel like that when I was 7.
Yeah. Yeah. So that happened because we missed the cutoff to get into a strip club. So only half of us got into the strip club and the other half of us had to wait. So we waited out back on the train tracks and just drank and threw rocks at trains
Yeah,
until the cops came.
as one does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's normal.
So that was pretty horrifying. Outside of that, though, we actually had a really good time. We had a lot to talk about. He was super nice. He didn't care and like wasn't phased at all that I don't drink, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Like crush my Coors edges, and I had actually originally only wanted to hang out. I told him I could hang out for like maybe like an hour, like tops.
Yeah.
And we ended up like closing the place down just because we were like talking so much and like goofing.
Good.
And it was really nice. Like it was just nice to like meet someone that I never like otherwise probably would have met. Like he is in like indie bands and he's like a photographer and just like totally like not my scene at all. We have like no mutual friends.
It's kind of refreshing in a way, I imagine.
It was like a good time. And like there was no chemistry there. Doesn't matter, still had a really good time. And then I meant to text him the next day after I got home.
Oh, you told me about that.
And then and then I got like really anxious about it and was like, oh man, like now it's too late. Like I can't text him now. So I haven't talked to him since. But it was a really good night. So Scott, if you're watching this, I had a really good time. Even though I forgot to text you and then had too much anxiety about it. So
that's me with my friends.
I know.
My buddy, so our friend Randy says Tinder was bountiful until the pandemic. I've never in my life had a dating app, and at this point, I'm committed to maintaining that streak. Like,
yeah, I mean, like I don't mind Tinder, and that's just like not how I like interact with people.
Right.
I feel like it puts like even if you put on there that like you're looking for something like platonic, like I just feel like it puts like too much pressure on the situation. But we're also like a year into a pandemic and I'm bored, so I do go off and on it like sometimes. Yeah. But I've only ever hung out with that one person because I feel like overall just like the idea of it like freaks me out too much. It gives me too much anxiety, and like I'm not trying to just like hook up with people, which like if you want to do that, it's totally cool. Yeah. But like for me, I don't know. And just like everyone on Tinder is so awful. Like so awful. That's what also stresses me out because like at that point, like I'm not like swiping on people that I'm like, oh, you know, like they seem really interesting. Like, you know, like they might be like cool. Like, I do want to hang out with them. Like, you know, after like about 30 seconds on the app, it's like, okay, well, you're less horrifying. I guess I'll swipe right on you. Like,
yeah, it doesn't bode well. And I hear from like, you know, friends and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not terribly desperate to meet someone, and especially not like in that context. I don't know. I think I may have said to you, my thing is like, if I meet somebody in general, like in any context, I don't want it to be like almost like we're meeting with a specific intent in mind. Like, because humans can connect on so many different levels for so many different reasons out of nowhere. And I feel like it would be almost, to me, limiting. Like, oh, cool, I've come across you, and you know, and the only context in which we're interacting is that one framework. That, you know, I think for most people is a framework that you theoretically are only interacting with one other human being with long term if you do it right. I know some people are not into monogamy, and that's a different world. But like, you know, I don't know, man. I like having buds, and you know, like friends are fucking cool. And sometimes somebody ends up not being just that, and that's cool too. But like, I always thought like if I met someone on something like that, it would be like limiting the potential cool shit I could do with them. Like, whereas if we just met in a friendship context, it wouldn't, you know, I don't know. Does that, I think I'm rambling, but I think that makes sense too.
No, it definitely makes sense. I just like, I don't know. I prefer meeting people like through my friends too, because then it also gives you a little bit of vetting, you know?
Yeah.
You know, so like I like being able to be like, hey, like, you know, I've been chatting with this person, like, Tell me everything about them. Like, what like terrible thing have they done? Like, have they killed a cat? Like, do they like hate like, their mom? Like, you have to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, so far that process has not been going well for me because everyone seems to suck anyway. But I feel like it's a little bit less stranger danger than just like meeting someone on the internet. And then it also like stresses me out too. Like, how many times do you see like people posting stuff about like getting out of like a really abusive relationship, and like you only know because they're posting like their social medias online, but then they're just like, you know, some like random person that you have no mutual friends with that you might have saw like on Tinder or something, you know?
Right.
It's like really scary for me.
Yeah. No, I keep seeing screenshots. I feel like every few weeks there's a different terrifying person. It's usually a man. Yeah, not exclusively, but it's usually a man. And it's like every screenshot, like, this guy's on dating apps. Be careful. He's this. He's that. It's fucking scary. And I'm like, holy shit. That doesn't sound fun. I mean, to put it lightly.
Exactly. Like I feel like I don't know, just like in general, like everybody is shitty, but in general, like men are so like and be like so like scary.
Yeah.
Honestly, and like extra terrible. That like the thought of like meeting up with somebody that I don't have like from friend like my close friends have already like known this person and can like vouch for this person, like I don't know, it just seems like really suspect to me, and it like stresses me out so bad that I don't think I will do well with dating apps in
Yeah.
that regard.
No, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's not from you since you can't fucking see any of my tattoos. You have awesome tattoos.
Thank you.
Thank you. Morta's Flames. I like that name. That is really funny to me. I don't mean that to make fun of you. Just I like when names. I mean, like my friend fucking Aaron with Swanophile. He wants to fuck a swan. You know, that's lovely. But
yeah, my like go-to name that me and my coworker just thought of yesterday is Anita Fajita, because we were talking about how we needed fajitas.
That's okay. Yeah, how are the fajitas? Because that is like a prime food group, and I haven't had fajitas in a long fucking time. I need to look at it.
Yeah, and it's just they're easy. So
yeah,
it's quick. They were good.
Hell yeah.
10 out of 10 would recommend.
10 out of 10. Hell yeah, Brazilian in Scotland. It's fucking late in Scotland, isn't it? It's like what, 1 a.m? Well, 12:30, 1:30. I don't know what time zone that is. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your company. We're just talking shit, Valentine's shit. Drinking non-alcoholic beverages, you know, so we don't humiliate ourselves on the internet. Well, that's my rationale. Amber is always on the non-alcoholic kick, living a more virtuous life than myself.
For now, only because I've had enough of that life in the past.
Fair enough, though. You know, we're not here to we're not here to judge you. We're here to judge other people.
Also, it's a pandemic. I'm like, why do I need to drink right now?
Yeah, that's
calories.
So many of my friends are like, yeah, I'm drinking so much more. And I'm like, why? I hate being drunk alone. That is like what a terrible place to be. You get a hangover and you didn't do anything cool.
And all you probably did was like destroy your room.
Yeah, no, it's like you end up like making mac and cheese at 1 a.m. because that sounds like suffering to me. I've been
or I'm just like I'm really not good at drinking at home, like in general, like even like when me and my ex were living together, he'd like always be drinking at home, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna like drink at home with you, and it would take me like 2 hours to nurse like a 12-ounce can of beer. And then I'm just like, okay, this isn't even like fun for me. Like,
yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not good at drinking at home. I'm not hanging out with people right now anyway. I'm not leaving my house. Yeah. So it seems like a good time to go booze free.
Yeah, I crack a beer sometimes while I'm like sitting trying to like watch stuff on Netflix or whatever, and I'm just like, and I forget that I have it. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be drinking that, I guess. Like literally when I'm doing YouTube is pretty much the only time I actually like consume alcohol, and it's usually an anxious fidget more than me wanting it. Like even this Martinelli's, this delicious juice, I've like sucked down most of the thing just because I'm like nervous being on here, which I don't know why I have a YouTube channel when I get anxious every time I do it, but at the same time, allegedly people enjoy this. My friend Chris, who is being a fucking coward and won't join us tonight, he's recording a podcast instead.
Fancy.
It's the 100th episode of this podcast he and his wife run. I'll allow it. He told me, he's like, people don't watch your show because of metal, they watch it because of you. I'm like, that's bullshit. He's
That's
like,
probably true. The last one of your things that I tuned into, I could not stand that tape that you had playing in the background, but I stayed there.
hell yeah. That obnoxious fucking electronic tape.
That was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It sounds like your brain has just been totally like, I don't even know the word, like just scrambled. I mean, it's not meant to be enjoyable, I don't think. I don't know, man. I have
good choice for your live stream YouTube channel where we have to listen to it with your voice cutting in and out for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, but it is partially an antagonistic decision when I do something like that, to be fair. But you know, so Chris told me, and now that I'm an hour in, I feel like I can start on this because now if Chris is watching, Chris won't watch the whole fucking thing. Chris is like, you should tell people stories about your love life. People love you and they want to know. And I'm like, dude, I don't really have a little, but I've only dated a couple people, so I'm gonna tell Chris's stories instead, I think.
Excellent. Yes.
Just I don't know, man. To be fair, Chris already tells all his own stories on his fucking podcast. It's all just like how he likes to eat his wife's ass and has a podcast with her. And it's like I'm happy for you. I also don't need to know that. He loves to talk about that though. So there we go. I fulfilled my thing. No, I don't. I don't have. I guess I think it's all like, oh yeah, I really, really liked this person and then they got drunk and hit me. That's not really a fun story to tell. And also I don't want to everybody knows all my exes. So it's like, I'm not going to fucking do that because we still have friends in common.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I don't feel like starting those kind of fires. I have one person who I haven't known in like a decade. And she's like married and has kids now and stuff and seems to be living a really nice life. And I hope she's happy. I don't want to like fuck with that or say mean things. I also don't have anything mean to say about that person. That's like, people you date when you're a teenager. I hope she's happy. I would be miserable.
I think I've only had like serious like long-term relationships with I guess like 3 people.
Yeah.
And some of them were terrible, some of them were awesome. But I feel like, one thing that like you can talk about is that everyone always says that like relationships like teach you something about yourself. And I think that is like very important and very true, especially since just ending a really awesome, like really great relationship last year. I feel like it's like especially like now I'm like sitting down, I'm like, okay, like what did I learn from like that first relationship and that like rolled into the second one? And then like how did like what happened with that affect like who I was going into this third one? And then like in this like really awesome, like super healthy, good relationship, like, now it's time to like really take a step back and examine like how we both grew as individuals that made that relationship like not compatible anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of learning in that regard. Like, okay, well, now I met somebody who like respects me and like supports me, but like what exactly like do I need out of my life to like feel fulfilled that like I felt like I had to do it on my own, So
of course. See, that's actually mature and like introspective, which is wonderful. I think it's not, and thank goodness. I think there's almost like this sort of like blood in the water sort of thing when you're talking about shit, like interpersonal shit, especially on the internet. And I kind of hate that. Like if I were to start throwing rocks, metaphorically at somebody that I had some sort of involvement with, people would love that. That would be so interesting and exciting. But like in reality,
people love drama, but like,
but it's like, and that's like I see two fucking different therapists. I'm way more interested, like I joke a lot in chaotic ways on Twitter because I also don't like a lot of the people that follow me on Twitter and I want to piss them off. But I think it man, if you're like past the age of like 22 and you're not trying to at least kind of look at the way things carry on, then God, I mean, it's like that stupid fucking you're doomed to repeat history thing. I mean, maybe it won't be the same, but you're gonna, even if the other person was a complete fucking monster, you probably did something stupid along the way, or at least you stumbled into that. And how did you get there? How do you not get there in the future?
Yeah, exactly. Because like, as much as you want to believe that, like, well, speaking for myself, as much as I want to believe that I am always right all the time about everything, that's just simply not the case. Like, people, like, look at how like you interact like with coworkers and stuff. Like, everybody's different, and like how your minds like view even like the same situation can be like, totally different. So like, if you're not willing to like compromise or like meet a partner like at least like halfway, then like you shouldn't be in a relationship anyway, because like relationships aren't gonna be easy. It's about like learning how to like live with somebody else. Like, you're learning how to fuse your life to like an entirely different human being with like a different set of like needs and wants and like desires out of life.
Yeah.
So sometimes things end because it went really poorly. And sometimes things end just because like you can't like you can't help each other grow anymore. Like, you're like at that ceiling, you can't get through it like with that other person.
Totally. So my last
Think you froze.
There we go. I'm back. It was trying to stop me. My internet likes to cut out here and there. Yeah, Ben did freeze. But so last year during the early days of the pandemic, the dark tone was set. A decision was made that now we don't list numbers out of respect, but my ex is a Gen Xer, and I am pretty firmly in the middle of the millennial generation. There are years between us, and we decided that it would be fun and funny to introduce one another to music and be like, "Oh, do you know this song?" Because she'd referenced some song that was popular that I hadn't heard because it was like some fucking corny ass 70s rock song. I remember what it was too. It was like Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo. It was called. Fucking trash ass song, so stupid. I mean, I get the whole point. It was stupid. It's not like she's like, oh, this is great. She was showing me this stupid song, so we were like, oh, dude, like I wonder what we don't know. I fucking played her Papa Roach and Linkin Park, which she had never heard, and then 3 months later we're split up, and I don't know that's why, but that's why. Like that is for sure.
I mean, I don't know about that. My dad really likes Linkin Park and Papa Roach, and we are still best buds. So
my mom loves those too, to be fair. My mom, okay, dude, my mom is like the fucking, I wish that she was on YouTube with us tonight. My mom came into the last stream and it cracked me up. So in the early days of Facebook, I think they brought back quotes on Facebook. I don't really use Facebook anymore, but there was like, your bio quote. She had a Limp Bizkit quote as her thing. And she attributed it, it wasn't just like the Limp Bizkit lyric, but she then, quotation marked it and then did like the little hyphen and said Freddie D.
Sick.
Like not just Fred, there's Freddie D. Like my mom loves Limp Bizkit. Like she's like a fucking 17-year-old boy from 1999. I'm convinced. Like that is my mother.
Dude, I
think she was in.
I think I would love your mom.
And most people do. Like she's really fun for somebody that isn't fun at all and hates fun and goes to bed at 7 p.m. I say that with a lot of love. Mom, if you're watching.
I mean, that's basically me too. I try to go to bed by 7 p.m., but
You're at work at 7 p.m., dude.
okay, yeah, it's all right. So realistically, I try to make sure that my butt is planted inside my bed no later than like 9:30.
That's, I mean,
But then
yeah,
I usually sit there like on my phone. But what helps, since I have a new phone now, this is also why I keep not answering you. So I set up my new fancy phone with the sleep well mode on there. So
what
I
is
have
that?
it set so that after 11 p.m. I don't get any notifications for anything until 7:30 the next morning.
That's amazing.
Which really helps because then if I'm like, even if I'm like watching TV or something, I don't get the notifications when I'm getting texts and stuff. So then
Yeah,
inevitably I'll fall asleep watching TV without like getting stuck like on my phone, and that rules.
that's really, see, I don't actually have
That's lady
notifications
shit
on.
right there.
My phone doesn't have notifications on for anything other than a text, and nobody texts me. Most people are contacting me through stuff like Instagram or Twitter, but I don't have a life, and I'm just bored out of my fucking skull most days. So I'm just like literally living on social media. I just have tabs open for that. Like I'll be reading a book and just like looking up to look at Twitter or whatever because I'm just fucking bored, which is weird. Like when I had a job, when I had a like obligations, I was so antisocial. Like it was like, ah, yeah, I went a couple of years ago. I think I went 2 months without using the internet, like except for like I write on my blog, but I didn't open Twitter, I didn't open Facebook or Instagram or anything, just because it was like, yeah, I'm going to a shitty office job where I have to do marketing for this horrible company that I am working at. I guess they're still technically my employer, so I shouldn't say anything too disparaging, but it was not enjoyable to me to then come home from typing in Excel spreadsheets or whatever, and then come home and like, what's Twitter up to? Like, fuck that. I had no interest in that. But now that I'm disabled and sitting in bed all day, or in my bedroom, it's like, yeah, I'd like to hear from other people.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. So I deleted my Instagram over the summer. I guess I probably deleted it in like August or September maybe. Um,
Good time.
but then I was like, okay, that's like a little too much. Like now I don't have anything to like scroll through because I don't have Facebook.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have anything to scroll through. Like that sucks. So I made a Twitter. And that's the story of how I ended up on Twitter and why I still have like 4 followers because I just don't care.
And
But
the
so like
more.
my like social media schedule is that like while I'm working, um, I have since remade a different Instagram, but it's like super private.
Yeah.
And I pretty much only follow like meme pages and like motorcycle pages and maybe like 4 friends.
And people
Um,
with country songs.
yeah, exactly. Um, so now between like Instagram and Twitter, like while I'm at work, I'll be scrolling through them like all day, like taking breaks and just kind of like eyeballing stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I pretty much like ignore most people's texts and messages and stuff because like I am too busy at work to like hold a conversation with someone.
That's good.
Um, but I'm not like too busy that I can't take like a 2-second break to like scroll through and see if I see anything cool. So then it's when I get off work that's when I'm like, okay, now I should probably talk to people. So
Yeah, if you want. I mean, and Olaf, we forgive you. The internet is not you. Glad you're here.
yeah, Ben
Um,
has some internet problems too. So
I
you
did,
know,
yeah. I don't know. It must have looked really cool. On my end, is like it showed both of us like with shut eyes for a second, like because it's just when it decided to freeze on my end, and then everything just was like the little circle where it's trying to load, uh,
that's
which is
nice.
just,
On my end, I could watch myself moving and like talking as normal, and yours was froze with like a blurry like.
I'm glad I'm glad I got a good motion shot. It'll be fun to watch the playback like later on YouTube when I can watch it. I don't ever watch these after the fact, but I will go look.
You're gonna sit here and rewatch this even though you just lived it.
Yeah, now I mean that I do. I think that's why like there are people. I have friends who are like YouTubers, and I think there's a difference between that and like whatever the fuck I'm doing here. Like have like tens of thousands of people following them and like want to know what they're doing and shit. And they like will film and edit these things, and it's so clearly like they have, you know, like a professional lighting setup and shit rather than like literally Christmas lights in their bedroom and shit. And it's like I don't have the patience for that, man. Like I can't imagine starting doing something and then editing it and fucking with it. I don't want to watch myself. It's like looking in a mirror. It's bad enough, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, like with those people too, like when they're building up a following like that, like their
Uh,
videos are monetized and they're making
yeah,
a lot of money.
yeah.
So
No,
like, you give me like $100,000 a year, I will sit there and stare at my face all day and edit anything.
I don't know if my buddy Mike is making. I should ask him if he makes money though. He's got like 60,000 people following him or something like that. I think. I'm probably exaggerating that. I feel like it's like that many though.
Yeah, well, in my Valentine's Day panic of doing research about moving, I actually was just watching a bunch of videos about like the pros and cons of living in a van.
Yeah.
And I actually
Lifestyle vloggers.
yeah, and so I watched a handful of videos this morning talking about the same exact thing, how like, you know, they're like, you just like have to be really careful because like these people that are on social media, like making it look like living in a van's like the greatest, most beautiful thing. Like they're getting paid a lot of money to like edit all these like videos and only
Right.
take like this like good footage, and like they don't post like the boring and the mundane and like how terrible like it actually can be. Like you have to keep in mind that if you have a big following, you're literally getting paid to
Yeah.
create beautiful, nice content.
Right. Well,
So
and that's I mean, I think it's something everybody is aware of, but at the same time ignores or just blurs out when they're like, "I'm gonna do that." It's
totally.
like,
Because like you want to be like idealistic about it. You're like, okay, well, I'm gonna do this thing, and then my life is gonna be really beautiful and nice too.
yeah, like I literally started a YouTube channel because there was some old dude who followed me on Twitter. I mean, he's not old; he's like in his 50s. He's an old dude. Fuck him. He, no, like, he
Your
turned out.
elders, Ben.
This guy sucks anyway.
Okay,
It
then don't
turned out
respect him.
turned out to suck. Didn't at the time, I don't think. Was like, you know, I used to like write reviews of beers too instead of reviews of music, and everybody's like, he's like, maybe if you poured the beer on a video, that would be nice. And I'm like, oh yeah, then you could see the way it looks. You know, like I like fancy beer, but I've never been a geek about it because I also hate gatekeeping and weird. If you have to have some sort of academic understanding of a thing to enjoy it, I think that sucks. I happen to like good beer. But so I did this where I would literally just like pour the beer and
Agree
show
to
it.
disagree on that.
What?
So we can agree to disagree on that.
Do you think that it's cool to like where you have to understand X amount to get into a thing?
I don't feel like you should have to have like a specific level of knowledge to even bare bones enjoy it. Like everything should be an accessible thing to get into, whether it's like
Yeah.
a hobby or career or otherwise. Like it should be accessible in that regard. But I also really like learning things, and I think like the more shit that you have to learn, like the better, you know?
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but I think at least in cultures like beer, it's almost like there's a degree of usually old fucking white dudes with beards who don't want other people involved if they don't understand. It's like I don't know a lot of that, a lot of the technical stuff. I've never made beer. I'm not a fucking chemist. I just really I think it's interesting. Just like I like
Well, that
coffee.
could be a cool, fun hobby to get into. I have friends that like brew beer and like brew kombucha and stuff like in their houses, and that's like
Yeah,
really cool. It's really fun. It's like
I
fun to learn too.
I
It's like
I,
science in house.
I do want to learn pickling. I really want to start making my own kimchi because I apparently, you know, I'm some part of me must miss the West Coast. I guess I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I literally started a YouTube channel just so I could show people the physical aspect of the beer, and then people started wanting to actually have me talk. Now I'm stuck here. I don't think I ever
I'm not
started.
even drinking a beer this time. Look how far the channel has come.
No, I know. Well, yeah, and I did. I have a really good friend who's straight edge and has like literally never tried alcohol. He's like 30 now. Um, and so like I had reviewed like a soda that was brewed or that was made with hops. You know, obviously non-alcoholic. And I thought that was interesting to do. So like I've always, you know, because also I don't like being drunk, man. Like that shit stresses me out. What if I embarrass myself more than I already am?
Yeah, I'm really good at that.
I'm great at it. I mean, all I need to do is like open my phone in the morning to embarrass myself. I don't even need to come on here to do that. Um, oh, that's true. Beer does taste good. There's not a lot more to understand, but I know that some people like to dive deep into the complexities of it, or I don't know, they put weird shit in their beer and hope it tastes good.
Hey, I think you should learn how to make your own beer and brand it and sell it.
That sounds like work. I don't.
Yeah, but like fun work you can do from the comfort of your own home.
That's true. Maybe one day if I'm magically not living with roommates. I think right now my room is already full of shit as it is. And I don't know. Maybe. So
Yeah, I want to start learning how to brew kombucha.
kombucha is good as hell. I'm totally on team kombucha. I know a lot of people are not, but I think it rules. I just don't space like again I'm working in a limited space environment, but I think if you can do it, you just got to get one of your friends to give you the mother, right? Isn't that what it's called, the mother
It's something like
or
that. I don't know.
Smoky?
My coworker just made some like brewed like coffee kombucha. I don't know. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go pick some up from his house tomorrow though. So
Hell
I'm
yeah.
gonna try it.
No, that
But
sounds
I
good.
don't know. I'm also like I'm like trying to also keep myself in check between like wanting to spend money on hobbies and learn things and no, like I need
Saving
to
for the
sell
future.
everything I own and like move.
No, totally. Yeah, there's
Trying to like keep myself in check that way. Stop buying shit.
yeah, no, I get that. I always want to save for the future, but then it's like I don't have really a plan on the future anyway. um Olaf says kombucha is too sour, but sour beers are a big thing. Like it's just kind of vinegary. It's not like that outlandish, is it?
Mm, kombucha is an acquired taste, and I feel like you're either like into it or you like really don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, also, Olaf, you just turned 20, and I feel like I didn't, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way at all, but like I was more open to weird food once I probably got into my mid 20s, like 23, 24, than when I was 20. I wouldn't have even tried kombucha before that age, probably. I also wasn't exposed to it. It wasn't a fucking trend when I was young.
It also like it really depends on the brand too, because like some original kombuchas will be like way too vinegary and sour for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then like some brands, I really like the like hibiscus flavored, like
Oh, that
carbonated
just kills
ones.
me. So good.
Or like for non-carbonated, I forget the brand, but it's like a really stout, like fat bottle short, and it's called like it's like Pink Lady Apple.
That sounds
They have
really
it at
good.
like Whole Foods and stuff. But for like non-carbonated kombucha, that one's good. But then like some of like the just plain kombuchas are like kind of disgusting.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I have to pee so bad.
Okay, I'm gonna stare at
You've got,
myself.
yeah, tell everybody stories.
All right, Olaf, what story do you want to hear from me? It says, I think I see that there's like two viewers, but I'm pretty positive that one of them is me, who also has this video up on my other monitor right now. So I don't know. Otherwise, I'm just going to sit here and stare at myself, which is uncomfortable. But that's what we're doing anyway. So I've also never co-hosted anything or live streamed on YouTube. So I have no idea how this works. Like I have the video up on my other monitor, but I can't even see like who's viewing it. All right, what is the best show that I went to? It's a loaded question. I feel like I have been to like so many, like just so many shows and tours and festivals that I feel like it just like I have some like sets that were kind of standing out on the top of my mind as like all time best, but it was more so just because of like the experience itself. Um, so for example, when I was at Psycho Las Vegas in 2019. Getting to watch Perturbator in Vegas while I was in my bathing suit in a swimming pool was probably one of my favorite things I have ever done. Otherwise, Judas Priest is one of my favorites that I've gone to. That was just insane. I don't know. It's been a while. We've been in a pandemic for a year now. What is a show? I don't remember anymore. Let's see. Talking about drinking. Hell yeah, Mortis Flames. That rules. I have tried to stop drinking a handful of times over the past few years. But I feel like it's especially really hard for me, like with peer pressure, that I always get like really bad FOMO. I'm like, oh man, like I don't know, I like feel so much better and this is so great, but like I don't know, like all my friends are drinking and I just like I want to have brunch and get wasted on mimosas. So I feel like this time not drinking and now that I'm like in a pandemic and single and live like by myself pretty much was way easier this time. And it's nice because I feel like at 4 months, like I'm starting to get over the hump of like the difficult part, which will make it a lot easier to continue to not drink even when the weather's nicer and I get to start hanging out with my friends outside again. So,
Oh, shit.
oh, little meow meow.
She was screaming at me. Oh my god, fuck. Fuck. See, yeah, you didn't really want to come in here anyway, did you? And I got another, yeah, that's right. Fuck you. I'm gonna shut the door then. You can't do that. No. This cat is gonna be the death of me. Like the second I exited my bedroom, she just started yelling. So anyway, thank you for watching while I wrangled a cat. I have a cactus in here, so she's not allowed because she tries to eat plants and she would get so hurt. I'd feel horrible.
No. Yeah, I feel like now that I don't have a cat anymore, I was like, all right, I'm finally gonna get a bunch of plants. And then here, still have not done so. I bought some fake plants from IKEA, but I've not gotten any real plants yet.
Well, I mean, you also now you're not sure, where life is taking you. You don't want to be too encumbered. To be fair, that the cactus is on loan. It's a housewarming gift I got for a friend who hasn't had a chance to get it yet. So I have other plants that are not cactuses. I don't fucking know. Cacti?
Yeah, I've also killed every plant and cactus and bamboo that I've ever tried to have.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm hit and miss with my plants, but yeah, usually I've had pets that are like hostile towards them. And thank you, Morta's Flames. Fucking those Mismore interviews were fun. He's an old friend, so I was glad to do that. I'll do more real interviews soon. My last computer kind of fucking died. It works, but not consistently. So like I stopped scheduling interviews until I got this new one.
Ooh, what kind of carnivorous plants?
Yeah, I want to know about this. Carnivorous plants are fucking cool.
They are cool. I had a Venus flytrap one time when I was a kid. I was so stoked about it. And then my mom fed it like a literal like piece of deli ham. And it obviously died. Like
yeah, that's horrible. I feel like my cousins had Venus flytraps when they were kids, and similarly, like they would touch it to make it close. And it's like that's not. You can't just do that. Like, and I mean, we're talking 7-year-olds. It still sucks that they killed the thing, but like, I always found pitcher plants really interesting too.
Yo, pitcher plants are cool. I like them.
I think they're wild. Like, so I feel like I just keep coming back. Like, coincidentally to mom, my mother is a like garden landscape expert. Like, that's her fucking world. So I'm not great with plants, but I will literally just like take a picture of a plant that looks interesting and be like, tell me if I should have this. Tell me what I'll need to do to keep it alive. And she'll be like, oh, that's this and such. And this is what you need to do and put it here and keep it in this temperature. And I'm just like, fucking cool. Like I've got my own, like, I need to turn her into an app. I'm sure that such a thing exists, but I don't have that in my phone. I just have my mom's phone number.
No, that's nice.
I mean,
Yeah, I
also,
have some friends that are like really good at gardening and especially with like growing like fruits and vegetables and stuff. It's like it's so exciting. So like over the summer, my friend had me help her replant just like a bunch of veggies. So we actually took a ton of our empty beer cans and like basically just like cut the tops off, like folded the edges in, and then planted like little baby like snap peas and veggies,
oh,
stuff like that.
that
And then we
rule.
dropped them all off at the houseless encampment in Philly so that they could replant them and like start like a vegetable garden.
Hell yeah.
Um and that was really cool. And then I helped her replant one of her own like personal plants, and she had like offered to like let me have my own. I was like, nah, like I'm not killing this plant.
This won't end well.
I was like, so how about you keep it and then you just like send me pictures as it grows.
Like when you sponsor a child in another country.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you keep it, you take care of it. You let me know if you need like some water bottles, like a couple bucks, and just send me the pictures while it grows up.
Yeah, that's like the best of both worlds. One of my roommates is talking about getting this like indoor planter thing where they send you like subscription seeds and you can grow your own produce in this thing. It sounds very high tech and I don't fully understand it, but I'm also fascinated. So allegedly at some point in the future, we're going to do that. And each of us is going to pick a couple different plants. That'll be like our plants that we can have. So I'm going to have vegetables growing in my apartment apparently, if the cat doesn't eat them first.
I forget exactly what plant it was supposed to be, but my ex smokes American Spirit cigarettes. So like every year we'd get like just like random packets of shit in the mail from them. And like last year for
They
Earth
court
Day,
their they court their audience.
yeah,
Gifts. That's nice. That's nice of
yeah,
them. Since they got you
um,
on the hook anyway.
exactly. So like the last time I got something in the mail from them, it was like for Earth Day, and they sent us like a little packet of like seeds to plant like veggies.
That's fucking cool, actually.
It was really nice. So we planted them and they did not grow. So it's fine. Smoked too many cigarettes, stunted their growth. It's all right. I understand.
Yeah, man. So if I start smoking, then I need to start smoking those so that they can give me plants.
Exactly. Like
That's
once a year, maybe. So
yeah. That sounds great. Nah, I already have enough.
cigarette addiction.
I have enough bad habits, and I'm looking to have even fewer. Like I think I've finally I'm kicking the mediocre seitan based meat addiction. Like that shit always looks so good and it's almost never actually enjoyable and I feel like garbage and I've spent $8 on like a fucking slice of wheat gluten.
Yeah, so I make my own seitan at home.
That's probably good.
Yeah, so it's like really cheap and I can make it in bulk and I can like turn it into like whatever. So like I'll save some for like to chop up and like put on salads. I'll throw some in like a slow cooker with like corn and black beans and like barbecue sauce to make like pulled seitan.
Fuck. See,
Um,
that's what's up. But
yeah, so I just like do that, but I make like big like loaves of it like at a time, and then like whatever I can't like immediately prep, I just throw in my freezer and I'm like good. So
that's what's up. But like dry ass, gross ass bacon shit, I don't need that anymore. So it's gonna save, I mean, tens of dollars a month on that. Oh, Ola, what did you think of the Outer Darkness thing? Uh, that's the leftist black metal band I posted that actually didn't suck because a lot of left wing bands are like coasting on the "we're good people, support our music" thing, and it's like, yeah, but your fucking riffs, they're just garbage. I don't care how nice you are. I'll like you for being nice, but I don't like your band.
all right, it's my turn to go pee. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go pee. Have fun. Yeah, Amber made the wise move of turning the camera off. I'm not such a pro as that. In fact, I will even do the dignity of removing from the stream temporarily, so there won't be audio playing for you folks. I was foolish when I had to pee. Yeah, Olaf, tell me, what did you think of Outer Darkness? Was it good? I like it. I've only listened to it twice now, but I enjoyed it. I can look around and come up with more recommendations for you if you need. Hi, Kira. I'm so glad that you're here. My co-host tonight just left to go pee for a minute, but how are things in Pittsburgh? What's Pittsburgh like? And hell yeah, we love the screams. I love screaming music. Love you. Yeah, no, I understand that. I just think it's nice to know because so many. It was more of just that a lot of left wing bands are fucking mediocre, and they're coasting on their ideology. So it was nice to have one that came by that actually was just good enough without its own. Yeah, what's with all everybody like? You're all showing up now. Now that I don't have my co-host for a minute, she'll be back. But 10 inches of snow tomorrow. There we are. Amber is returned. Yo, so apparently the second you went away, half the population of Pennsylvania showed up to watch.
Oh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the rest of your
My
people.
friends.
Yeah, Kira and Josh, you're both in Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. I
I
have
like Pittsburgh. I miss Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh is covered in ice. It's Blasher here.
So is Philly. I fell getting out of my car last night.
Oh fuck.
Well, I was like, so I was stupid, and I don't like ever check the weather because I'm like, well, whatever. Like,
Yeah, you'll see it when you get there.
yeah, I'm like, I'll see you when I get there, and if I have to go to work, like I have to go anyway, so who cares? But I decided to go to work yesterday wearing cowboy boots that have like no grip at the bottom because like at this point, like most of the snow is like just like on the edges of the street, like the sidewalks are clear, the streets are clear. So I'm like, all right, like I'm tired of wearing snow boots every day, so I'm just gonna wear cowboy boots.
Yeah.
And then and then I get out of work and my friend and I go to my car, like my coworker and I go to my car, and just everything is just like a sheet of ice, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm like hobbling over to my car, like that's like a block away, like planting like each foot and then like carefully doing it again. And then I get to my car and like I can't even like open the door because it's like all like iced shut. So then like we get the door open and I'm like, dude, like I don't have an ice scraper. So I found that I happen to have a Burzum CD in my car. So I like
Shame.
I know.
We're judging you.
Not mine. It's my ex's that I stole because I liked it. So I'm like using this like Burzum CD, just like chipping away like ice on my windshield.
That's a good use.
It was a very like, yeah, it was a very Philly day. So then I like ice skate into my parking spot, because the whole street's icy, and I'm like, all right, cool. I can just like give it enough gas to kind of like slide in, like. So that's what I did. And then I like walked out and I carefully got around the curb, and then like instantly forgot that the whole street was ice and just like
ate it. Dude. That's yeah, I've been lucky. I haven't busted ass this year, but I will. And so, Olav, I live in Queens, New York. It's like 5 minutes walk from here. I'm in Brooklyn. I'm right where those two meet. I don't know if I don't did they do. I'm not trying to judge. I just don't know culturally what it's like in Norway where you live, dude. I don't know if you know the difference between Queens or Brooklyn or any of that anyway. But I'm in New York, but I'm not in the city. It's still busier than most other places in the world, but it's quiet by New York City standards. And Josh, I'm really sorry that you fucked up your neck. That sounds like hell. Bruh.
It was all that I had in my car.
That is the best comment I've ever read. I like don't that using okay. Yeah. Kira, yeah, and so Kira is new to living in Pittsburgh. Kira was living in like rural Pennsylvania and just moved to Pittsburgh like a month ago with friends.
Pittsburgh has so many hills too. Like I would be horrified. Dude, so like the first time I went to Pittsburgh, my friend took me to like whatever like that big cemetery is out there, the one with the cool like sphinxes on the tomb. And we were walking back to her house, and it was like 90 degrees straight uphill. So she's like walking up, and then like me and my ex are like dying. Yeah, we're like basically like crawling, like almost hands and knees, and like had to just like keep like stopping like to drink like water. And we're like, it was also like 150 degrees outside.
That's when I go to San Francisco.
Awful. We're like, why would anyone live here?
Yeah. Like every time I go to San Francisco, which isn't a lot, but I feel like right before the pandemic, I was there a couple of times in a few months because one was a planned trip and the other one was somebody died and I had to go home. But like San Francisco has all these hills that are like this, and you'll just see like, you know, the people who live there and are used to it just like cruising on up the hill. And I'm like, oh fuck. Like, you know, most, I mean, there's a grade in the ground here, but it's pretty fucking flat. You know, right. You go up and down stairs to get on the subway and that's about it. Like I'm great at stairs. They're designed for that. A hill
really
is
good at stairs.
Yeah, no, that's vicious. I hate it. You played GeoGuessr. I don't know what GeoGuessr is. Rhode Island is near enough to New York. It's a few hours drive away, but like I have a lot of friends that live in Providence and think it's cool there. I've never been to Providence. I've driven through it.
Providence is okay. It's like kind of boring. It's like a little too small.
They're all noise musicians.
If I was gonna live in New England, yeah, well, because I stayed at like the downstairs neighbor at the Drop Dead house when I was in Providence.
Okay.
But I just feel like if I was gonna live somewhere like in New England, like Rhode Island would not be it.
Yeah, I mean, if I was, it sucks so bad because like I actually, if I were to not live in a city, there's a lot of rural places in New England that are really fucking cool.
Yeah, I've moved to like Vermont or Maine like in a heartbeat.
Maine is
hate the cold.
So. Maine is fucking rad in the summer. I love it. But there's this town in coastal Massachusetts, not on the Cape, but just northern Mass, where one of my ex's parents lives, and I won't name it or do anything like that, but it is like the most picturesque, beautiful little like fishing town. It's unreal, and I can never go there again because I'll run into somebody who probably hates me, and I don't want to deal with that shit. But like, if I were to like ever not be in the city, it's like, oh my god, like New England is beautiful. But again, also, yeah, the winters are fucking horrendous. Like,
yeah. I mean, that's why I want to move in the opposite direction to somewhere where it's warm all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I think my other thing is like, if I left this city, I'd probably just go to another city. I'd go to LA because it's nice there. And also I was born around there, and theoretically, that's because it's where I belong. No, like it's almost like psychedelic in like the Southwest. GeoGuessr. Okay. GeoGuessr is a game where you land in a random place on Earth and you're supposed to guess where you are. That sounds, I mean,
it's fun. I want to do that, but I have never like gone anywhere, so I feel like I would have no idea. I'd just be like,
yeah,
I don't know, Belarus.
There was that thing somebody, it's not like an actual game, but where you just like do randomizing on Google Maps and then you try and figure out how to get to an airport from wherever you've ended up. It's like
how to get to an airport.
Well, yeah, so like how to escape where you've been placed, basically. It's like, which I did that once when it put me in like a fucking field in like Central Europe. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'd like this game. I did that for about 5 minutes. Also, I'm never that bored. I mean, I have a Twitter account, so I'm clearly that bored, but Google Maps as a game doesn't really excite me. But GeoGuessr, how did you figure out you were in Rhode Island, Olaf? How did it tell you eventually when you were like, what the fuck is this? It was like, oh, yeah, Rhode Island. Seems like a suspicious activity. I wouldn't enjoy that. If I woke up and I was in Rhode Island, I'd be very concerned. I feel like Josh and Kira should already know one another from Twitter. It's weird to me that you might not. So I hope that you're. I'll give you each other's ats sometime soon, or you can just throw that shit in here. I saw a sign where it said, "Yeah, that's a good way to figure out where you are."
Sorry, I'm like multitasking here because I'm realizing now that I'm like really hungry and I don't feel like making food. So I'm ordering something.
Hell yeah! What are we ordering? What's for dinner?
There's a place that I like around the corner from me. It's called Hip City Veg, and it's just like all vegan food. So I always just get same thing, just a ginormous salad.
Fuck yeah! I grabbed a salad. There's a sushi place in my neighborhood that I'm really addicted to. They have just this avocado salad, but it's just like avocado and a bunch of greens and shit with ginger dressing. And I have a couple of those in the fridge because I'm a fucking goblin, and it's every time I buy like a bagged salad, half of it ends up being bad already or goes bad before I use it. So pre-made, yeah. Oh, somebody's living exciting life out there.
Like, what was that?
That noise. It sounded like somebody's shitty engine backfiring as they. I live above a 5-way intersection, so a lot of times people decide to rev up and get excited and make annoying sounds right outside because I'm at a stoplight. Olav, I forgot the name of the jazz band you sent me. Give it to me again, and I will literally open it in a new tab right now. And after we're done here, I'll listen to it. I'm sorry, I'm horrible. Did it sound like a horror movie? It just sounded like a shitty fucking out here.
Well, it sounded really intense on here.
Good.
Switch my tab back over. I was like, what is happening?
I've been found. I'm in trouble now.
That's okay. My neighbors today had some sort of something going on. That
Yeah,
there was like a drum line and like just people like on like megaphone speakers. Like, I don't know.
was it for the Lunar New Year? Like
No.
for
Mm-hmm.
it
No,
wasn't.
I
It wasn't the year
couldn't
the opposite.
tell like exactly what it was. Like it kind of like it started off and I thought it was like a church sermon. Because they
Okay.
were like saying like some prayers and stuff, and I was like, okay. But then they had like a drum line that went on for like a really long
God
time.
damn.
And then they had like a whole like round of speakers that were just like screaming and just like they sounded like really intense and like angry, but I like couldn't hear what they were saying.
Oh,
And I was like,
good.
is this like a neighborhood thing or like what is this? I still don't know. It's a mystery.
That shit's really fun and exciting. My old apartment was by a street. You get the cat is trying to open my door. She's figured out how to use door handles, but she hasn't figured out how to open the doors. It's like Jurassic Park when the raptors figure out. I'm just waiting for the day. This cat will figure out how to open the doors eventually. So right now she's just hitting my door handle and crying. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's so funny.
No.
To me, it's probably not actually that funny. My old apartment, there would always be like funeral processions and like church revelry going down the street. Because there was a church a few blocks up that clearly was sending these marches out, and they were fun and festive, and usually not more than 5 minutes long. Oh,
I don't know. I mean, like I love like neighborhood stuff. I think it's cool. So like across the street from my job at the park, like they would have like jazz festival Fridays every like I guess it was like every other Friday
uh-huh.
for all of spring and summer.
Even during the pandemic.
No.
No, not this
No,
year.
so not this year. But in general, like stuff like that, like I love, and they'll have like a
Yeah,
bunch of, like vendors out there and like cute
no, that's
music.
the shit.
But I also feel like that's like a weird thing about living in Philly during the pandemic is like now that none of that stuff is going on, like no local neighborhood stuff, no like bars or clubs or shows, like with all of that taken away, I'm like, what's left? Like Philly is
Yeah,
gross.
yeah. It really shows you like the distillation of the culture, like what actually defines the area. So
Exactly.
there's still enough shit in New York. I mean, New York is immutable. I feel like even when the city is dead, it's still what it is because it's just I don't know. This is a fucking haunted city.
I mean, my roommate is obsessed with New York. He tries to get me to go up there or move up there with him like all the time. But I feel like I've been to New York like enough times that while I have not had the actual New York experience, I've been in the city enough to know that
It's
I
not
fit
you.
there. I'm like,
Yeah,
too many people, it's too dark, it's too dingy, the buildings are too tall. Like I don't like
yeah,
it.
yeah. Like in my neighborhood, everything is like 3 stories tall at the tallest. Like
Still too
it's
tall. That's too much.
yeah, and it's
It
I
should be a
love it.
ranch house. So
What
said everything should just be a ranch house.
that
One layer, maybe like some grass, some trees.
hey, you're ready to go to fucking Central Valley, California hell.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That's oh man. I lived in Fresno for a month. Fuck that.
I was looking at like Long Beach, California on Zillow today.
That's expensive.
It is. So that's
Like,
like that's the problem is that I feel like the difference is that in like other cities and other places, obviously the further away you get from this actual city itself, the more affordable it is. Um, but it's like it's and you can get a lot more for your money in other places than you can in Philly. But
yeah,
what I'm still finding on Zillow and stuff is that like it's the same thing. Like you're either finding places that are available for like $900 or less, but they're
yeah,
like total dump, or your next bracket starts at like 13, 1400. And I'll
yeah.
be
There,
like, nice. And it might have like a property and a garage and be worth it, but it's like just still more than I can afford like on my own. And I
yeah.
refuse to have a roommate. Like I'm not having a roommate ever again. So
What happened to the wife guy? Your
oh,
new love
I love
prospect.
my wife, Tinder guy.
I love my wife.
All right. So to explain to all y'all here, I swiped right on somebody on Tinder solely because they had a Tinder profile picture in a t-shirt, in a Realtree t-shirt that just
Really?
said, "I heart my wife." And he had like no info on his profile or anything, but
Oh, there's nothing.
no,
It's just a
he
picture.
wrote nothing about himself. It was just a couple pictures. That's it. He was supposed to, I guess he was like, "I'm so attractive that this will get me swipes," but
Oh,
no
yeah.
info about me. Um, but I love fucking with people on Tinder. It's the main reason I have it. Uh, so I swiped on him, and of course he like messaged me, and I was like, "Dude, like it's so nice to see that like you love your wife. Like I love a man that loves his wife." And he was like so embarrassed. He's like, "Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. I didn't even notice. Like I'm deleting it immediately." I'm like, "No, it's cool. Like you know what? Like we should actually like I love my husband. Like we should go on a double date." He wasn't too happy about that, but it's fine. He's actually kind of funny. So we
Yeah, no. He
chat
nagged
a
you.
little bit. But the other rule with Tinder is that like once you give them either like your Instagram or your actual phone number, like something to take the conversation off of Tinder, the conversation inevitably just like dies. Like that's it. It's
That's
probably
what
the problem is usually me that doesn't answer. But I'm like I don't know. It's like I can like chat with someone and be like, "Oh, you're actually kind of interesting." Like, sure, like you can have my phone number. And then they'll like text me a couple times and I'm just like, nah.
So he will not be helping you afford the next bracket up in your dream home. He
I guess not.
I love that it's a real tree. I didn't put that together. You said real tree and that. I thought it was maybe like separate, like two of his different pictures. I didn't realize it was a real tree. I love my wife shirt.
You know, I was gonna say, I was like, man, I wish I took a screenshot, and I would have if I knew he was gonna delete it. But I'm thinking I might have taken a screenshot. So one moment.
Hell yeah.
I'm gonna be so disappointed if I didn't. Oh no, I don't think I did. What's wrong
You could
with
ask
me?
him to send you that picture, but then you'd have to text him.
No,
Also,
I
he'd
already,
probably be making fun.
I already forgot to answer him earlier today, so it's fine. I'm the worst.
That's good.
No,
You're playing hard to get.
what's funny, this is relevant. I did not take a screenshot of that picture, sadly, but I did take a screenshot of my ex's Tinder that I found that he is using profile pictures that I took when we dated 7 years ago. Which is also why I do not trust Tinder. I'm like, this motherfucker is out here using 7-year-old pictures. Like,
That's unacceptable.
what happened, my dude? Like, did something terrible happen, like, to your face to make it match your personality? Like, I don't know. But, like,
That's, yeah.
ugh, dude, it's funny. I was cracking up. And then I thought that, like, once you swipe left on someone, it, like, kind of takes them out of, like, your card stack, at least for, like, a while.
Yeah.
But that ex of mine comes up, like, I've had to swipe left on him, like, I think, like, 5 times in the last, like, 2 days.
What? So so either you've already exhausted all the options or it's just shuffling randomly through.
Yeah, but it's supposed to, like, not show up anymore. So I'm like, "Why do you keep showing up?" And, like, with these pictures I took, it's so funny.
Yeah,
But,
that's
I don't know.
look. It's
I'm also, like, so good at Tinder that, like, I'll get, like, alerts from Tinder that's like, "Hey, like, just a reminder, you know, you have to give likes to get likes." I'm like,
wait, there's likes in addition to swiping.
well, no, but, like, so basically right swiping someone is, like, liking their profile,
Okay.
and then if they right swipe on you, it, like, matches, and it's like, "Oh, you got a match." But the problem is, like, everyone on Tinder is just, like, a gross trash person, so I
And
swipe
they're
left
just
on almost everyone. So then Tinder will be like, "Hey, like, this app isn't gonna work for you unless you start also swiping right on some people."
yeah.
I'm just, like, always laughing about it. I'm like, "Sorry, the fish in the sea are gross."
Yeah. Oh, it's also I like disappointing my apps. I want them to feel neglected. Except for Duolingo fucks with me. I don't like Duolingo. I don't know if you've used that.
I have a little bit, but I feel like that's one of those apps that, like, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this and get really
Yeah.
good at it." And then I give up, like, after about 2 days, so
I just don't like the guilt. It is so manipulative. Like it's like the owl, the little green owl mascot, man. It'll send you a thing saying like, "Don't disappoint the owl," and it's like, no, I don't want to disappoint the owl, but also you know, I'm horrendous at learning this language. Fuck, like I don't want you to manipulate me with this sad cartoon character, man. Like that's fucked up. Yeah, Duolingo is a language learning app, Josh. It's not a dating app with an owl. You don't date the owl. But it's like your coach. So of course now that I've complained about it, I re-downloaded Duolingo yesterday to try and learn Japanese because I have nothing but time on my hands apparently, and I just decided to learn a language that's impossible to learn. So I'm sure in about a month it's going to start threatening my life if I don't start picking up Japanese again. Now, one of my buddies was saying like how she'd been trying to learn Japanese and had stopped because life got in the way, and I'm like, oh, I'll learn Japanese. That sounds fun because I don't have life getting in the way. And it's like, oh god, now that I've committed to this, I'm already feeling regret. I should have just downloaded it and said I want to learn Spanish because I already speak Spanish. and would like to. I speak it but poorly. Like I should brush up on the languages I already know rather than trying to learn another one that I can also not learn very well. So Tinder reprimands you. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really like reprimand you. It's just like, hey, this is how you're supposed to use the app.
There's no rules, dude. It's like love is a battlefield, man. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
terrible and disappointing one.
Yeah.
But
No,
also, like, I think my other favorite like Tinder profiles is that everyone on there is 420 friendly, but like as a personality trait, like, oh, I hope you're like 420 friendly. And I'm like, it's not cool, dude. Like, everybody smokes weed. Like,
yeah, I think that is honestly part of what kept me straight edge as long as I was growing up, was growing up in California where weed culture wasn't just like something people did, it was a personality type. It's like I find that so obnoxious. And it's like, yeah, just fucking, I mean, like one of my old friends who smoked a lot when I was growing up, and I think still smokes a lot. She in like the phrase that she used was smoking weed is about as esoteric as taking a shit. And that, like, I think it was probably 15 years ago she said that shit, and that was the funniest and most accurate thing. It's like, yeah, it's not that interesting. I mean, sure, do it, be real about it, acknowledge it, but also like, if you think that makes you cool or interesting or edgy, then you really don't have a lot going on. You're like a fucking Spencer's gift shop, man.
exactly. It's like that, and like what else is everyone on there? So everyone on there like loves the outdoors and loves hiking and whiskey. And I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course, whiskey.
I'm always like, all right, great. Well, first of all, I don't drink. Second of all, I'm the laziest piece of shit on the planet, and I actually don't like hiking. So I like I don't want to go on a date with you when I'm like sweaty and struggling and just like cranky and getting eaten by mosquitoes. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't want to do that. So no, if you're too outdoorsy, left swipe. If you're like too into the gym, left swipe. It's
That's
also like all the people on there, they'll be like, yeah, my dog's cuter than you. It's like, cool, bro.
that.
Probably dogs are the best.
Yeah,
So
dogs are amazing, but also that's a really weird flex.
yeah, yeah, lots of weird flexes on there, definitely. I'm looking for someone real. No, like I'm not gonna sign up for your Snapchat premium.
I'm so glad I'm not doing this shit.
You know what?
Oh,
This? I'm gonna go on Tinder right now and I'm gonna swipe through and see if I can find some good profiles on here.
so weed is not legal in a lot of the United States as well. It was not legal where I grew up in California. It is now. Weed is not legal here in New York. I think it will be soon. It's legal in maybe 15 states, but I don't know the number. I'm not keeping track because it doesn't really impact me. That sounds awfully self-absorbed, but you know what I mean. Like I don't know the exact number, but I know that it's growing and it should continue to grow so that we can stop locking people up for bullshit and start fucking deconstructing the carceral state. But this is not a political podcast. I'm not going to start on that shit now because that's when I get annoying. Well, more annoying than I am.
Oh, here's a good one.
Hell yeah. That took you no time at all. I love how fast that was.
I drink, I make music, gamer. I will eat that pussy like it's the last meal on earth and fuck it the same way. The end.
He's gonna fuck his last meal on Earth.
He's gonna fuck his last meal on
Can
earth.
you screenshot that, please?
End. Oh, I just swiped left. Sorry.
That's okay. That is so good.
There's more.
Gamer. I like the gamers in the middle too. Can you know if you lead in with that's a fucking losing prospect already.
My other favorite is these dudes with like terrible pictures on here. They'll like post like a group shot of them and like their 20 frat buddies that all look exactly the same as them. And then if they're trying to be nice and help you figure out which one is them, they'll just put like beer emojis on top of everyone else's faces.
Oh my god.
You get the people that like take a picture, like, I don't know, just like right here that they're just like looking up, like close shot here, like, or like, I don't know, a picture that it looks like they took with like a digital camera from like 2001.
Hell yeah. Got your mom to take that picture for you for MySpace.
Uh-huh.
See, for a minute there, like, I mean, I love pictures that don't look good of me because I think they're funny, and I don't think I look terribly great most of the time in general. But I'm also not putting them on dating profiles. But like in December, but before you had the pleasure of knowing me, I sent probably half a dozen of my friends this picture I took of me like with my neck and head sucked into one another, like because I just thought it was funny. I'm like, I look like shit in this. Like I've got like 8 chins. But like
your dating profile.
yeah, exactly. But that's the thing. Like that's the stupid shit you send to your buddies because you're like trying to have a laugh. Like I sent it to my friend Jamila because she was going through a dark time, and now she requests that I send more pictures like the potato, which is a terrible thing. Whenever I want to start looking good in the world, I know she's just going to bombard me with all those horrible pictures I've sent her of me with 8 necks. And Josh, you've been married for like 11 years, man, right? Something like that, Josh. Yeah, people say shit like that in their profiles.
Absolutely.
Haven't you seen the Oegamium guy? Like that guy's a legendary meme. He can't even spell orgasm. He thinks there's Oegamium. Like he missed the R and the S.
Here's this one. Their profile, the only thing it says is, "I'll buy you pizza and grab your butt."
Okay, that's like MySpace 2004 shit. That is. It's also not that cute.
God, here we go. Something different. 6 foot tall, dominant, 9 inches, aggressive, in control, nasty. I need a woman who's confident and clean and enjoys serving and praise.
So he's Christian.
No face in politics. Don't beg for more. No hookups. Smooth skin, shaved head. Not for everyone. I understand. You must take COVID seriously and must be ready to meet immediately.
You can't be ready to meet somebody immediately if you're taking COVID seriously. I love this guy. This is a fucking this is like a dumbass legend, except for he sounds like a fucking clown. He enjoys serving.
Okay, here's this little here's this little nerd guy who plays golf, right?
Hi.
His profile only says, "I like tattoos."
Getting, giving, having people who have them.
That's it. I don't know.
That's kind of amazing. I like that guy, but not in a way where I'd want to know him. Just I think that's funny. That's good. I like tattoos.
If you're not allergic to alcohol, we will get along.
Unfortunately, that disqualifies you. That's my mother, who doesn't always want to tell everybody she's sober. Will just tell people she's allergic to alcohol.
Actually, I am allergic to some alcohols. I can't drink red wine or gin. So.
I mean, gin isn't that great, so that's fair.
Oh, everybody on Tinder is also ethically non-monogamous, which is totally fine. And like, if you're gonna be non-monogamous, like, duh, it should be ethical. And I totally get that. Like, polyamory just like is not for me.
Yeah.
But I don't understand like the trend of like every profile on Tinder is ethically non-monogamous, ethically non-monogamous. Like, I'm like, are you just saying that to try to like
it's just like I want to sleep with 5 people at once? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It seems a little sus to me.
It's why I never. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I never dated when I lived in Portland, but that was one of everybody was fucking poly there. Like, and I have friends who are in multiple relationships and they're happy, they're living their life. I couldn't fucking imagine that. And Josh, I'm glad I made you laugh. That I'm allowed to be funny like once a month, so that was my moment. But yeah, no, that guy's funny. I like that. I have no interest in knowing that person, but that's funny. Ethically non-monogamous. I'd like to meet the person who's just like, I'm unethically non-monogamous.
I know.
Who's just like fucking shameless about it. They're like, yeah, I'm an absolute scoundrel. I'm gonna ruin
I'm
you.
actually cheating on my fiance of 6 years. So
Well, wasn't that there was that whole website whose entire purpose was to find an affair and then like their database got hacked and leaked? That was a thing.
I forget what it was called.
You had to like sign up with like a lot of financial details. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I forget. But yeah, that should crack me.
Because I used to have a profile on there. I don't know. I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna try to be a sugar baby.
Dude, yeah, fuck yeah, if you can get that money.
Which is like the thing, like with a lot of people on there, like the men on there that are like willing to be sugar daddies, they usually have a lot of like a ton of money and like a marriage and are just looking for someone to like take on vacations. Like they're literally just hiring like a 20-year-old to be like their arm candy sometimes.
Yeah, when they're like, yeah.
So I think that, yeah, that was like a little insane, but I don't know. It didn't work out. I didn't find anyone that wasn't creepy. So.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's the real world too. I feel like people are creepy. People are fucked up. Olav, thank you for being here. I know it's like 2 a.m. in Norway. Always glad when you join in, bud.
In the meantime, I will be searching for the soft outer shell for my cheesy gordita crunch.
No.
Security number available upon request.
Oh my god. Wait, is he playing a didgeridoo? Is
that what that is?
Or does he have like 8 beer cans taped together? I don't know what that is.
Doesn't look like beer cans. It looks like something smushed together.
Like a didgeridoo almost, that shit. I do such a good job of that. Is that a potato gun?
So I can't tell, but like if you look like a little closer, it looks like a bunch of those like to-go coffee cups, like the ones you get at hotels. It looks like that.
He's been living out of a Days Inn.
Oh no, it is a didgeridoo. It literally says it on the caption.
I
didn't realize that didgeridoos were so ugly.
They're fucking weird looking. I mean, I think there's probably, degrees of it. I made one out of a PVC pipe when I was 14. Part of a school project. I didn't just have the grand idea to make a didgeridoo. But then my cousins who were older and would come over and be assholes farted into the thing too much to try and make a droning fart noise. And so I never wanted to use it ever again. Because you don't want to put your mouth to the fart tube.
There's this cool guy. I wish that you could like see this.
I can kind of see it. It almost looks like from here, it looks like Job from Arrested Development.
Yeah, he's kind of nerdy. His profile only just says, thoughts on the post-sex high five?
What? Okay. Why are people trying to be cute like that? Because it's
men should just never try to be cute.
Yeah,
men should just never speak.
I like that.
But shut the fuck up.
but then we also were harshly judging the guy who just said I like tattoos. See, he didn't say enough.
He should have just shut the fuck up. Close your phone.
Shut up and play golf.
Keep your mouth shut and live your life without putting that into the world. The world does not need any more of this energy.
The post-sex high five. I feel like if somebody wants to high five after sex, they are too young to be having sex.
Yeah.
Or rather, at least if that's a fucking topic of interest to them, like I'm going to discuss this with you. That's fucking weird. I mean, I guess people are weird, and that's being weird is cool and fine, but I'm learning a lot about the kinds of weird I don't like tonight.
Yeah, that's what Tinder's for.
That's why I'm not downloading it. I don't want to find out about that. especially because like I'd have to like run the risk of finding out about all these obnoxious people who theoretically live within walking distance of me. I don't want to see
Yeah,
these people on
I
the
have
fucking
heard
street.
horror stories. So like from some of my friends that pre-pandemic actually used Tinder.
Yeah,
So that they've run into that problem a lot where they've like had a terrible experience with someone and then
and then
turns
there's
out that they lived like a block away.
yeah,
So
fuck that. I have no interest in that. That sounds horrible. I mean,
it sounds terrible.
I mean, I'm not trying to meet people during a pandemic, but especially like just knowing, like, oh yeah, I don't want to find out just how obnoxious my neighbors are. I like the fact that they're just strangers now, and I don't have to. Yeah, Josh, your wife. Okay, but see, that's it. You guys have been together for 10 years, and you also you're married. You're in that like weird thing. You can be dumb. You can have your own fucking weird language and your own map that you've drawn together. There's a big difference between that and literally putting out to a stranger on a dating app, how do you feel if I high fived you after we fuck? That's fucking weird. Like, and Josh, what you and your wife have seems very pure and good, and like you also love to laugh at yourself. There's a big difference there. You're not trying to be cute on the internet. To be fair, I'm cute on the internet, and it almost always plays poorly. It's a terrible thing to do. I'm just immature, and I don't know what else to do with my life. Um, yeah, no, it's always a bad look. Don't fucking do it. And yeah, it would be super weird. We don't. Also, in general, putting a tentative sexual proposition out to a stranger who hasn't even said hi yet is weird.
That's what I mean. So I was thinking the other day, I'm like, am I just like way more of a prude than like I thought that like I don't know, just the whole thought of like because already like going on a date, especially like a Tinder date, like really like stresses me out.
Yeah,
Because again, like we were talking about earlier, like I feel like it's just like too much pressure and like
yeah,
not enough like just casual like platonic, especially during like a pandemic when you can't just like be like, hey, like a group of friends is going out. Do you want to link up? You know?
yeah. Of course.
Um, so I feel like it's like that's like too much pressure for me. But then the fact that like so many profiles are just like explicitly just like assuming that like you're
That,
definitely gonna fuck. I'm like,
yeah.
ugh, like no.
No, it's a really weird implicit thing for a lot of people, and I don't think it should be implicit. Like, I don't know. But yeah, as you're saying, like I think especially from starting to learn about that world, post being single now, it's like I think a lot of people live in a very different sort of sphere than I do, and I'm like, oh, maybe this is just normal, and like I don't function the way the rest of you do, and I mean, no judgment. I don't give a shit what anybody else does. Just don't rope me into that,
Yeah,
live,
I've always
live
said
life.
like yo like just thank God. Like thank God I am not single in Philadelphia because that would be terrible. And now that I'm single in Philadelphia, I can confirm that I was
Yeah,
right. It's terrible.
yeah, yeah. I think honestly, I mean, there are a lot of nice things about being with people, even if the relationships aren't good. But one of my favorite things about being in a relationship was never having to navigate awkwardness with other human beings based on a uh, presupposition sort of thing where it's like, what does this mean? Why are we doing this? Like, fuck that. No, like I'm being nice to you because I like you. You're my friend. Like there's literally nothing more to read than that.
Exactly. Well, the other like problem I guess now too is like now I'm single out of a very like long, really good relationship. So on top of like having a healthy, very good relationship and now being single for like this long, I'm like so comfortable like with me and my alone time and like just hanging out with me and my dog and like have my goals for like what I want to do with my life that it's like so much harder to deem anybody willing of like I don't know, earning like even a couple minutes like of my time. I'm like, why would I like go like
Yeah,
spend my time like with someone who sucks?
no, totally. Like,
When I can just like hang out with my dog and keep doing what I'm doing. Like,
well, also, like, you've got a pretty. I mean, I know that you've got a few different potentials on your personal roadmap, as it were, but like you've got goals, you've got defined things that you would like to change about your life.
Yeah, and I will be damned if I meet someone and get tied down in Philadelphia again.
Exactly.
Not happening.
That's so it's like, and that's a really important thing. Josh, I think you're wonderful too. Eric, what the fuck? Good to see you. But yeah, no, I think that's the thing, man. Is like when you have, I think a lot of people do put romantic love as the goal itself in some way in life, or maybe getting laid more than romantic love. Who fucking knows? And in doing so, they hinder their own process of figuring out where it is they'd like to go in life. Uh, and I think that really fucking sucks. I mean, yeah, it's cool as hell if you can find somebody that's headed the same general trajectory you're on and you can do your own shit with each other, but you should still be doing your own shit.
Yeah, no, exactly. Because then, like, that's what happens. You like invest so much of yourself and your time into a relationship, and then it's like,
We want different things.
yeah, if you're not like on the same page about like even just like where you want to live, like,
You're
then
fucking
like,
right.
you're kind of screwed.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, that. Yeah, because I've definitely allowed myself to change my whole life for somebody before, and I don't recommend it. I can't say that it's a good move, even if it feels like it for a minute or two. Really, really not.
Like, I feel like if anything, if I happen to meet someone like before I move, it's gonna go like one of two ways. Like either I'm gonna be like, okay, well I'm gonna move here and you have to like move with me, and they're either going to say no,
Yeah,
or they're not gonna want to and just like say okay and do it anyway. And then at which point I'll be like, you wiener, like stand up for yourself. Like, what do you want to do?
yeah,
You
no,
know,
and that's the thing. That's some
no more compromising for other people.
no, and also don't let other people compromise for you. That like you raise an interesting point there because like
Like, to a degree, like, you have to compromise in general about things,
yeah, but
but, like, for, like, your big, like, core value beliefs
self-sacrifice.
and, like yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's between saying like, oh man, like I'm gonna make this minor lifestyle shift that really doesn't inconvenience me because it makes this person I care about happy, and then there's saying I'm going to remove a fundamental part of my core values for somebody else. Like I did that more than once, uh, pretty much entirely all for the same person, and I there goes my fucking 20s. That's all I'm gonna say. Like that was like, I mean, to be fair, a lot of the aftermath of that led me to so many good things in life. I don't really fucking care anymore. But like I stopped being in bands. There is literally no part of myself that I've ever liked as much as being in a band. And I don't think that that's a cool quality, but like, like because I actually really hate people that put musicians or creative people on pedestals, but like I don't think I've ever felt comfortable in my skin except for when I was
Soul, then that is cool.
yeah, no, and that's the thing. Like I don't feel comfortable being me, but when I was singing in a fucking corny ass grindcore band, I felt really, really good about who I was. I didn't feel like my whole life was figured out or anything, but like it was an activity that felt right. And I stopped doing that sort of shit because somebody felt threatened by that being in my life. And it's like, fuck, man, I can't believe that now. I mean, it's over a decade ago. When you're young, you change things about yourself because you're like, shit, I just want to be loved. And
I feel like people keep telling me too, they're like, "Oh, like, you just turned 28. Like, you're so young. Like, these are the years that, like, you're gonna figure out, like, what you wanna do with your life." And I'm like, "Yeah, but I feel like I'm, like, 28 and have nothing to show for, like, almost a decade of, like, being an actual adult at this point."
yeah,
Like, so stressful, even, like, trying to, like, think about where I wanna move. I'm honestly, like, super stressed out about it because 'cause I'm like, "What if I pick the wrong place and then waste even more, like, years of my life?" You know? It's
and I'll be real with you. You're gonna make a lot more mistakes in life, but you'll hopefully.
totally, but I feel like
Well,
that's, like, wherever I plant myself is, like, the
that's
little,
an
like,
important.
wormhole effect of, like, okay, well, that's gonna determine, like, the people that I meet and like
Yeah.
things that I end up doing, like, you know, where you live, like that's like your roots, like where you start to spread out from.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm like, okay, well, like, do I want to live in like Texas or like Nashville? It's gonna be like totally different, like life paths. It's like one of those like goosebumps, like choose your own adventure books.
No, for sure. I do get that. But yeah, like I think what because I'm still I mean, I finally was starting to be on like a path in life in a way, and then I fell sick, almost died, and lost everything again. And it's like I'm back at fucking zero, which is actually really cool in a way. Now it didn't feel that way for a while, but and I know that this is not some grand piece of wisdom I'm imparting on you, but like I think what I've learned that matters most is how you recover from a situation that feels like a mistake, because everything is gonna turn south sometimes. It's just a matter of like, do you have the coping skills and the resilience
Yeah.
to make it right? And it seems to me that you do.
I think it'll be awesome regardless. I just feel like I almost like with now having a fully remote like work from home job, like now there's literally nothing like telling me that like I should move to X, Y, or Z place
Yeah.
except myself. And that's really stressful. I'm like, I wish I had like a little bit more of like something narrowing it down for me.
Well, so you're looking at Austin, Tucson, and Nashville mostly, not
Yeah.
exclusively, but those are your big ones. Yeah, Eric, I love you. I am a champion, and 44 for every win. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, you
True.
make your win.
That is true.
Um, I will tell you, I mean, I've heard that Austin isn't what it used to be, but everybody in every city says that about
Everybody
it.
says that about every city. So
I will never see you in Nashville. I fucking hate Tennessee. Tennessee is my enemy.
oh
Austin is.
no, Nashville's like where I have the most people rooting for.
I know. I'm just gonna give you shit. No, I had traumatic life experiences in Knoxville, not Nashville. I've never been to Nashville, but fuck Tennessee. Although the Smokies are fucking gorgeous, you're not a hiker. But yeah, Austin seems like all my friends live there. I fucking don't like Texas though. Uh, Tucson looks like just a fucking beautiful, weird ass nightmare.
Yeah, like I feel like I really love that. I don't know, I feel like Tucson, like physically, like looks like somewhere I want to live. Like
Yeah,
just
it's beautiful.
the actual like geography and like weather of the place. Like I would want to live in Tucson. I think that like my worry with Austin is just that if anything, it's going to be a little too similar to Philly.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a city. It's a city,
right,
city.
exactly. Um, but like all my family lives in Texas, and my parents are moving back to Texas, and like they're really pushing for me to
Yeah,
pick Austin. And then my friends in Austin like love it and are obsessed, and they're like, dude, like you have to move here, like just move here. But
yeah.
again, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's just gonna be like another like too much city for me. And like if anything, I just like I hate Philadelphia and like I want to be out of here.
If it's any comfort to you, my friend Chris, who is doing his podcast thing and being a coward tonight, Chris and his wife live in Austin. Chris is always trying to persuade me that I need to go there. His wife hates New York because it's too much, because it's a fucking city, and they don't feel like Austin is a city. So and are against this city. So
But Philly isn't even like city compared to New York, you know.
yeah.
New York's its
So,
own whole separate beast.
yeah, so maybe Austin's on that level. I don't know. Nothing feels like a city
If
after this.
anything, I feel like it might just be like prettier and like nicer like weather
Austin.
and stuff. Because even like I loved Boston. Like I would move to Boston if it wasn't so cold. I was like,
Ugh,
you know, so
yeah. God, I don't like the cold. I mean, I also
together.
I live in cold places almost exclusively, but yeah, I get that. I get the impulse to go to warmth, man. Like my mom lived in Hawaii for a couple years when I was a kid, and I would visit her in Hawaii, and if I could live in Hawaii and like make a life there somehow, oh, I'd never fucking leave. But also,
Yeah, I was always supposed to go out. The tattoo shop that I worked at had two shops in Hawaii too. And so I used to get like offered to like go out there
which island?
all the time. So they were on the two shops are in Waikiki. So I
Hmm.
forget like which island. But the problem is like getting your dog to Hawaii is a nightmare.
Yeah, no, you gotta like.
Yeah, so I always turned it down, and
Yeah.
I wish that there was a way that I could have gone to Hawaii to live for a little bit with my dog.
Yeah. But you made the right choice. Dogs are family. Like
Well, I mean, it wasn't a choice. Like I wouldn't leave her. It was either
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
don't go.
yeah. Yeah, no, the process for moving a pet across the ocean is fucking nightmarish.
Yeah, it's a pain. I'm like, why is it such a pain in the ass? Like when it's still technically like the same country.
I think it's just they don't want to introduce diseases to the island or whatever, and I get that.
That totally makes sense. But for me being selfish brat, I'm like, what do you mean? So like basically you have to quarantine. You have to like get like a bunch of shots and like vaccinations and stuff, which is fine. That's standard. But then you also have to quarantine your dog for 6 months.
Right.
Go. Which that's like really not nice. Like I would hate myself if I kept my dog in my house for 6 months, like only being able to like kind of take her out to like use the bathroom, but she couldn't like go to parks or like anything for half a year. And then even then you would still have to fly your dog in cargo unless you get all the registered paperwork that they're like a service animal to like get them a seat on the plane. Yeah. And I would never put my dog in cargo.
No, it's terrifying. Yeah. Like, again, don't blame you one bit. But Hawaii is cool. I haven't been there in 25 years, but I think about it. I still have dreams that I'm there. Like weird and fucked up. And I'm realizing it's fucking late and you've probably got food coming soon.
I do.
So I'm not going to keep you any longer. We've done this for 2.5 hours. It's 9:00. Thank you so much for hanging. Thank you, everybody that joined in the chat. You're all legends. And we managed to have some laughs at the expense of the dating world without disparaging any actual human beings that know us.
Yes.
We didn't even.
I was like, all right, like, what can I talk about? And like, not name names.
Dude, no. I was just like, I mean, it's always kind of ad-libbed. When I've interviewed like musicians, I'll have like 5 general words scrawled down. I'm like, oh, these are topics I can throw at them, I guess.
Yeah, so, I made myself like a reference note of like things to mention in case I forgot. Yeah. Because I don't know. Sometimes I get like anxiety, and then I was like, okay.
I always have anxiety.
Like, hey, like, what's your name? And I'm gonna be like, I have no idea what my name is.
Yeah. Well, and I have
like, Tinder hell. I give up. I'm moving.
that is basically the summary of everything. I had a couple notes.
To be that. Tinder is hell. I give up. I'm moving.
I will change the title of this video to say that's what it's going to be called now. I had a couple of things that I like scrawled down that I ended up not even pulling out because I just, there's no thoughts in this fucking head. I'm just figuring it out as I go. But
not a single thought going on in here except for where's my food? Keep like looking out the window. Like,
dude, no, I'm hungry again, even though I ate before this, so I'm probably on the same level. Well, thank you for being here, Amber. I'll probably be pestering you soon, not on YouTube. And I hope that your salad is amazing and that Lydia is still asleep.
I can't believe that she didn't make a single appearance.
It's okay. Oh, hi. Oh my gosh, she's so fucking cute. Oh, we're bashful. Hi, Lydia.
Puppy.
Oh, she likes her name.
Hi.
Oh, sweetie. Oh, that makes me so happy. Yeah, I mean, we got my roommate's cat on here, though, and she never comes on, so we've accomplished a lot. Well, oh my God. Okay. I just want the dog cam for like forever now. I like that.
Leave the dog cam on.
I'll let you go, Amber. Thank you so much for hanging. It was fun.
I haven't pet my dog in 2 hours and 33 minutes.
I know, it's time. Go give her some
32 minutes too long.
That's fucked up, man.
All right.
All right. Have a good night. Later.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. And to the rest of you, thanks for hanging. This was fun. This was funny. I want more. we're gonna roast more people's Tinder profiles in the future. That was fucking great. I can't believe that. I'm still never gonna download Tinder myself, but I'm gonna get all my friends with Tinder to come tell me about their Tinder stories, I guess, because that's hilarious to me. Anyway, I'm working on getting a couple of proper interviews with artists scheduled soon. There's a couple interesting ones that I'd like to talk to. I mean, I guess anybody I talk to is going to be interesting. I think humans are interesting. So thank you for being here and taking part in this interesting human experience. And I will see you all soon.